We're back, baby. More Slop has dropped on your headpiece, folks. We are in the thick of it right now. I cannot remember a summer of Slop quite like this. This is, I would say so far, this has been the biggest since 2019.
This is the sloppiest offseason I can remember. We haven't even gotten to free agency yet. No. I mean, free agency, like, to be fair, like, free agency is like a little bit neutered these days. Like, guys don't really change teams like that. Like, I think Jonathan Kuminga will probably be the biggest free agent this offseason, but like
Norm Powell,
yeah, something like that. But it's been a great offseason. We've definitely had some Slop.
Yeah, I mean, we had, and it is very funny because once you get a little drop of Slop, once you get a little bit, it never stops in terms of what are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at Kevin Huerter, who just went back to the Pistons on a 3-year, $27 million deal.
Wow.
So $9 million a year for, and of course, that was our demon, Bartlestein. Kept his boy in the league.
That's actually crazy because I just want to real quick that the Landry Shamet deal looks like an absolute scam now. Because Landry Shamet just resigned for like $428 or something.
So you've just got to like let yourself get scammed. I mean, Kevin Huerter's making more than Peyton Pritchard, I'm pretty sure. Just very
fun. I mean, I honestly thought he was going to be a vet minimum guy. So that also, I mean, that also might be one of those things where they do this thing a lot where they just don't guarantee the later years, the Pistons.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, we have tradable Slop. You know what I mean?
Right.
We just have like contracts that we can move around because they did it with Duncan Robinson, where Duncan Robinson's deal broke, and we were like, okay, that's about right for Duncan Robinson. But then we found out the last year wasn't guaranteed or something. So, but the thing, we'll get interrupted with Slop a lot during this, so we're just gonna have to push through. Yeah. But I do just want to have a quick shout out before we get into this to T Edits in the comments, an OG YKB fan who said he doesn't have social media, so this is actually how he found out that Ja Morant was traded to the Blazers, which I
also found out from you.
Yeah,
I was getting back in the car at my garden. I was like greeting all the people who are looking at my shitty plot, and I get a text from Trail that's like, "Do you want to hop on about this?" And my last Shams push notification was about Jonathan Kuminga's option getting declined.
Yeah.
I was like,
I wanted you to come on to talk about Devin Carter getting salary dumped to the Hawks. My number one prospect from 2024.
We can talk about Jonathan Kuminga, but I don't know if we need an episode for that. But yeah.
A full episode just to talk about Jonathan Kuminga. I mean, to be fair, has there been anyone that's been discussed more in the last 2 years in Slop than Jonathan Kuminga? And now it's like he's such an afterthought compared to all the stuff that we're getting right now. I mean, we've had Giannis traded, we've had LaMelo traded, and now we've had Ja salary dumped basically in a very similar fashion to the trade that happened with Trae Young earlier this year, but with a much larger salary going back to the Grizzlies and Jeremy Grant. So they got Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray for Ja Morant. And everyone's first thought when this came out, when everything just dropped on this, where they were like, well, then they're out on Jaylen Brown, right? And my thought was the opposite. My thought was they're getting Ja Morant because they're preparing to lose some of their guards on the team. Like, they have Dame already. They're not going to trade Dame, obviously. But they also have Drew, they have Sharp, and they have Scoot. So I think that this might preclude a Jaylen Brown trade as opposed to being like, because Jaylen could play at the 3 for them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, there's no interference here, even though Shams came out right away and said this is their big star trade and they're not going to be chasing Jaylen Brown.
That was the thing, was like Shams said that, and like obviously that can be like for leverage, but he also doesn't rarely say that. Like, I could also see them just trading some of their guards to make this team make a little more sense.
Sure.
Also, like, so I don't know. I mean, if
does
they're
this
not
make any sense though, let's just start there. Like, because think about it like this, like in theory, sure. But Chris Haynes, who by the way has been taking the absolute L after L this offseason, I will say, I think that if he's reporting something related to the Blazers because of his relationship with Dame, there's probably some accuracy to it. He came out and basically said, they're going to start Ja and Dame next year, which is already insane. And then you remember, oh, right, they have Klingon as a starting 5. Like, obviously he's, he's going to set screens and roll to the basket and do all the center stuff. But he's not really a stretch big. Like, he shot threes, but he's not someone who's going to clear the paint. Teams are going to allow him to shoot threes. They don't really care about that. And then on top of that, Denny is like the same kind of guy. Well, same kind of guy as Ja. Like, Ja is, but like player-wise, they're very similar. Like, they want to do the same shit. Like, they both want to get downhill. They both want to get to the basket, and it just feels like there's a lot of cluttered shit happening here.
Well, they're also going to be small as fuck, like at every position. Like, Denny is going to be their power forward. Like, I would imagine, like, Tumani Kamara is probably their starting three, and then if they actually are starting like Dame and Ja, those guys are both undersized for both guard positions. So, like, I don't know, like. The roster clearly doesn't. They're clearly going to be another move. They're not going to go, as you pointed out, they're not going into this season with like 5 guards who like are starting caliber in some way, shape, or form, or have been in some way, shape, or form. Like, they're gonna consolidate somewhere, whether or not that's a Jaylen Brown trade. You know, whether this is the leverage to try to get them down. Can we quick tangent like. You guys can keep Klingon. That's fine. Just give us another pick. I don't understand why Klingon is like a hang up in some of these deals. Like, Klingon's like fine, but like,
have you ever looked at his EPM?
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe that's.
I've been saying forever. All Brad does is look at EPM before he makes trades,
and
I'm assuming that I think he has a really good EPM.
That's why we're trading Jaylen Brown like he's the 7th best player on our team.
Well, I do have, true. I do have Bobby Marks might have been cooking. He might have sorted by EPM. I do have a question because my thought with the Klingon thing was obviously he has the New England roots. He went to Connecticut, Klingon. Yeah. He's from Connecticut, or he's from New England in general, if I remember correctly. And then on top of that, you also have this fact that like the Celtics have been searching for a center, I guess, is like one of the things is that they went after Rudy Gobert when they were talking in the Timberwolves trade with Jaylen that fell apart and they ended up trading for LaMelo. And then on top of that, you also have the fact that like the real thing that I feel like that the Celtics goal is post Jaylen Brown is to have Jason Tatum, a big who can set screens and roll to the basket. And they are obviously already have that in Kata, but like maybe someone that's a little bit more has a little bit more upside than Kata and maybe is a little bit more matchup proof in the playoffs. And then on top of that, like Klingon, while I don't think he's a shooting threat right now, if you think he can shoot long term, the thing that made the Celtics unbeatable when they were really good 2 years ago was they had this crazy spacing at every single position. And if you think he can get to the point where he's a actual stretch 5, combined with doing that center stuff, combined with the analytical production that the Celtics like, and then you can also swing some picks to go get a Trey Murphy who's going to bomb from the logo. Yeah. That was the idea. Well, like they walk away from this trade as like they take all the picks that they get from Portland and then they flip it to New Orleans, maybe with Chris Senak, who we know that they really liked in the draft. And then they turn around and then they have Trey Murphy and Klingon next year. And then you go from a team that isn't quite as top heavy and like isn't quite as like star driven, but it does have more depth, flexibility, and versatility throughout the top 8 or whatever.
So like my 2 problems here, like I don't think that it's about getting better at the center position. I think it's about preparing for Kata to leave necessarily, because I none of the names they're tied to are guys who are like demonstrably better than Kata. Like Kata, Kata got like a little bit exposed in the playoffs, but like
he just has a fouling problem, and that seems to be something that's kind of followed him everywhere, and that's why you can't really be like he's our only guy.
But like it's not like Donovan Klingon had like an awesome playoffs, and you're like dying to get that guy
he was
in there.
Horrendous.
Yeah. So like like, and I get that he's younger, and I get that he was up against Wemby, but like they're not really like trying to improve this. I mean, I wrote a little thing on the Celtics where I like finally like sat down and looked at the cap stuff and tried to figure out what the Celtics are doing. I'm pretty sure, and again, I might be coping. I'm pretty sure that like they went in, and then there was Ramona Shelburne reporting on this today that kind of backed this up, that the Celtics always wanted to trade Jaylen Brown this offseason, kind of regardless of the Giannis situation. I think this is going back to they had a plan going into the offseason where Jason Tatum blew out his ankle, like that. This was their chance to reset the repeater tax and build a new team around Jason Tatum. So they did a season of Jaylen Brown as the focal point, hoped that he would have a career year like in like raw stats, and he did. And they did way better than anybody anticipated. But then the flip side was they got to the playoffs and got annihilated, and it became very clear that, you know, this is what happens when you give away a ton of players to like shed salary, which is basically what they did to get under the tax. And
their floor was always going to be really high because their regular season wins machine, but their ceiling is significantly lower because they've just had the talent drain that we've talked about with a lot of teams in this new era.
Right. Exactly. And so I think their plan was they looked at their books. They had a giant salary, 2 giant salaries in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, a pretty big salary in Derek White. I think they were going to kind of take a look at this offseason. And if Derek White had another like crazy good year and like you could get more for Derek White than Jaylen Brown, I think they would have been open to flipping Derek White as like one of the focal points. But the exact opposite happened. Derek White had like one of his worst seasons of all time in a horrific playoffs. And Jaylen Brown had a great regular season and a medium to bad-ish playoffs. So they're trading Jaylen Brown now. And that was always the plan. And I think that they're not replacing Jaylen Brown's talent level on this team. So I do think that this is a 2-year plan. I don't think that they are trying, like they might win like 50 to 54 games again, because like we just talked about, their regular season wins machine. This is not going to be a competitive team in the playoffs, kind of regardless, unless somebody we don't expect is available at the trade deadline for them to go get. This is probably, they are lining things up to go get another all-NBA guy, depending on whoever's going to be pissed off next offseason, whoever the Giannis of next offseason
deadline is. The way that the NBA works now, it's like maybe I feel like we get 1 or 2 of those guys at every single deadline, where it's like before the season you would have never expected that this player could be available, and then they get traded at the deadline. And obviously if you're a team with Jason Tatum in his prime and a lot of their guys in their prime in general, you don't really want to go into a season being like, we can make a move at a deadline. I'm telling you as a Sixers fan, it sucks to do that. Like it's you want to have your team built in the offseason, but you also don't want to overpay for, you know, a guy that you might not be crazy about. And it does seem like the only guy that they've been linked to that they really genuinely are interested in is Trey Murphy. And I've been waiting to say that I honestly was hoping that Jaylen would get traded, so I could have waited until after. I listened to the Bill Cope-Sesh podcast, which I do think that he was being a little bit green teamer, but I think he was doing a little bit of manufacturing consent for the Celtics. But I do think his overall point on like the conversation with Jaylen Brown has gotten a little bit crazy, where I always felt like, and so it could go both directions, right? Where like, I understand why Jaylen Brown's trade value isn't what his trade value could be. It's because he makes top 5 player money and he's a top 15 player in the NBA, top 20 player in the NBA. Yeah. And generally speaking, those guys don't have, and actually I thought Zach's point was a great point, which he was like, 2 years ago, this was Karl Anthony Towns, who, by the way, just helped a team win the finals. And like Jaylen Brown in the past has helped a team win the finals and won finals MVP. It's not to say they're bad players. It's to say that the league is very scared of taking on big contracts, especially guys that have this idea of what they are as players and like what the quote unquote the market or whatever deems they should be paid. And he wants an extension on top of being the guy on his next team. And there's just fewer teams where you can go to a team and be the guy first off than there has been in the past. Cause it just feels like we have a crazy amount of talent in the NBA right now, but it's not like Jaylen hasn't fit into that situation in the past. And I do think that if he went to another team that he would be more like, he would obviously want his shots and he would want the ball a decent amount because he's a talented wing scorer and he has proven to be at times very effective in a playoff context. And he just had this great season where he has this crazy volume scoring season. And even with some of the on-off stuff, like they were really good when he was on the court. They won his minutes and they had over 120 offensive rating with him mostly having the ball during that season. And my whole thing on this is like, I'm surprised at the way the league has, I don't even know if it's devaluing Jaylen Brown, but I think I'm surprised that there hasn't been more teams lining up to trade for a player like him, just because it's so rare to find someone with his skill set, even with his flaws. It's kind of similar to what we talk about with the 4-5 guys, like the Evan Mobleys and the Jaren Jackson Jr.'s and those kind of guys, where it's like, yeah, you could point at all their flaws and you could talk about this, but also like their teams are always really good. And if their teams are always really good and they're a part of that, and it's hard to find these guys, then they generally go for a lot in trades. And like, we just saw Jaren Jackson Jr. get traded for a decent draft pick haul, and most of the trade itself was filler, but like, I'm surprised that there isn't more of a market for Jaylen. And I'm also surprised that what we've heard so far is that the league is just lower on him, because I always expected the opposite. I expected us to get here and have it be like, wow, this player's available for Jaylen, or that's available for Jaylen. And it feels like we've kind of hit a point where it's like the league is just like, we're good.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like, Bill's like very salty about that. My take is like, we've kind of gotten away with murder for like a long time. So I think that has more to do with it than anything. Is just, that's
a good point. Actually, the teams don't want to be on the other side of the, how did you give up this for that Celtics guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think people are just kind of sick of looking stupid making trades with the Celtics. And you know, maybe that is like, I can hear everyone groaning about like the Celtics, like exceptionalism, but like, I don't know. This is what everyone was yelling at me on like the draft night stream, you know? So like, I do think that kind of, why make a trade with a good front office, you know, is kind of the thing, even though there's kind of blood in the water and everybody's like, you know, doing all of these things. So I don't know, like, you know, again, you're hearing this thing under contract for 3 years. Brad might have to wait for a team to get desperate. What do you think of the Bills Nuggets?
I do just want to point out the last time that the Karl-Anthony Towns thing is kind of, I think, the closest comp from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I thought Zach was cooking on that. That trade didn't happen until September. Like, and I know that it wasn't the same situation. Like, Towns didn't want out of Minnesota, but some of these trades take a little bit of time and take a little bit of like the Damian Lillard trade a few years ago, the Karl-Anthony Towns trade. We have these later in the offseason trades.
I don't want that. I'm going to be so pissed.
The Donovan Mitchell trade a few years ago. No, I think Donovan Mitchell was a little bit early. No, Donovan Mitchell was like late.
It was not the first week of free agency. It was, it went a while. Yeah. Fuck, dude.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to get at here, first, the reason I brought that comment up was, what did you think of the Nuggets deal? Because to me, of all the deals, if your goal is to win right now and there isn't a cling in, spin it into Trey Murphy style deal out there, and it's more like, here's a bunch of guys that like, here's Tumani Kamara, Drew Holiday, and some picks, like, I might be more inclined to go for a deal like the Nuggets deal that Bill floated that seems like he had some inside info. He did the Bill thing where it's like, I know something, but I can't really, because I do think that he was right about the Giannis thing. Like, I think that he kept being like, they're in on Giannis. They're going to say they're not. They're in on Giannis. And ultimately, they didn't get Giannis, but they were in on Giannis before he went to the Heat. So,
yeah, I mean, the price was so low. I think what happened with the Giannis thing was they really didn't think they were going to be a contender for the Giannis thing. Yeah. And Giannis said, I'll re-sign with the Celtics. And they're like, what, really? Oh, fuck. Yeah. Like, I think they had like a plan. I don't think they had like planned for his salary or anything. So, but when they saw like, man, that Miami deal's pretty shitty, we might be able to like top that. And like, we basically ended up giving the Bucks the leverage to get like, you know, Yakuchonis and like a couple of other things. But like I think that's probably what happened. And I think, the Nuggets deal, Bill probably heard something about something like this.
Which was, for anyone who missed it, it was Jamal Murray, Cam Johnson. I was surprised he didn't include the Zeke Naji thing. Not to say that the Celtics should necessarily have to take back the Zeke Naji contract, but just because from Denver's perspective, if you also can get off the Zeke Naji contract and then open up enough money to bring in a guard post this trade, I would think it would make a lot more sense from their end. But it was basically Cam Johnson into the Celtics TPE, which we've talked, funny enough, we've talked about before. We talked about it just straight up, like if they want to bring back Watson and they want to, like, that was one idea that we had, but we didn't think about it in this context where it's Jamal Murray and Cam Johnson to the Celtics, and then Sam Hauser and Jaylen Brown to the Nuggets, where basically Hauser replaces Cam Johnson for the Nuggets. It's a Jaylen and then vice versa, and then a Jaylen for Jamal swap. Two players who very funny because it's very funny to me because I've been thinking about this where I'm like, I feel like Jamal Murray and Jaylen Brown both could get, I wouldn't say exposed, but their flaws would show a little bit more if they were in a context that they weren't in, like the Celtics context or the Nuggets context playing with Jokic, with the spacing and all that stuff. And the long and short of this is that, which is my line, everyone says that's my bar. The long and short of this is that I feel like if they went to those teams, none of their flaws would show in the same way, where it's like, okay, now Jaylen's the second option for Jokic, and maybe it's not as quite hand and glove fit as the Jamal Murray thing because of the 2-man game and stuff, but it's still a very good fit. And then Jamal gets to play in all this space, they want to shoot a ton of threes. It's Jaylen and Jamal just had very similar seasons where they both had the best seasons of their career individually. And they both in the past have been playoff risers that helped their teams win championship. Very similar careers even. And Jamal finally makes All-Star, makes All-NBA, has one of the... I don't know if this has gone under the radar, but Jamal Murray just had one of the greatest shooting seasons in the history of the NBA. Like, jump shooting-wise, he was unbelievable this past year. And then he gets to the playoffs. Minnesota kind of boxes him in. He can't do shit. He can't get by anyone. His defense, he's just getting roasted. Him and Jokic both really fucking struggled in that series. And then on the flip of that is that you have Jaylen in the Sixers series where it looked like the Sixers were going to, full roll over and die. Embiid comes back. Jaylen gets exposed as a first option in Game 7 and took some really bad shots and made some really bad decisions down the stretch of that. And everyone kind of flips their opinions on the player, even though they just had the best season of their career.
So about this Jamal Murray trade, I have a Instagram post from yours truly. It is almost exactly a decade ago. 10 years. I knew you were going to bring this up. 5 days ago. This is me on draft night, and I'm holding a sign that says "In a hurry for Murray, never done, and please not Brown."
With the crying
Jordan. I was going to say that's another 10-year thing that I put the crying Jordan on me. This was also apparently I had been sober for 6 months at this point. Apparently, I also threw my my coin in there. So this is the guy I wanted that draft. I didn't want Jaylen Brown. I wanted Jamal Murray. I don't know. I think that's definitely the most talented package the Celtics could get back. Like in terms of I think that's the best they're going to do. I still think I would be a little bit disappointed in that because I don't think that moves the needle. I think for the Celtics, I think they're back in the same, Duran in a meeting for Kings for potential sign and trade. What?
The way that Chris Haynes has been reporting this offseason, I'm going to go on a limb and say Chris Haynes has been getting M-Grads is lapping him right now. People in the Discord with sources are lapping him right now. He's been kind of taking a beating this offseason. But I mean, what does that even mean? It's due to a sizable distance apart in negotiations. Detroit Pistons restricted free agent Jaylen Brown will meet with the Sacramento Kings at the start of free agency with the intentions of structuring a sign and trade out of Detroit. I mean, they can match any offer.
No, I was just gonna say. So if you're far apart on your negotiations with them, dog, and they'll give you what you want, just sign the offer sheet.
But how can they? Sacramento just got out of the second apron. They salary dumped Devin Carter. Even if they waive and stretch DeMar DeRozan, all they could do is access their MLE. Like it would have to be a sign and trade in that sort of. Now, if there was a team out there like the Lakers, they have max cap space.
Is it Sabonis?
That I get, or Levine and picks.
I don't think they would want Levine back. Sabonis on Detroit is very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hate Sabonis every time the Celtics are linked to him. I want to jump out a window, but I don't know. Detroit's got kind of a lot of shooting, all of a sudden. And the facilitation, would would make things a lot easier for Cade. Like,
I would not. I
probably wouldn't either.
No.
I'm addicted to Slop posting.
Yeah,
it would be interesting.
My goal is to win a championship. I'm not trading for Sabonis. Like, I think there are mid teams out there that should be trying to trade for him, or bad teams to make themselves a little bit more competent. But shout out to Niche, Josh. 5, love the content. Celtics fan my whole life. Trade makes sense to me because of finances and style of play. Celtics love know your role team basketball. So is that about, I'm assuming this is the Jamal Murray, Cam Johnson trade, which do you feel like, cause I actually am like, Jamal loves to shoot. Jamal is, you would need another creator if you lose Jaylen. Like I know that we've talked about this, and it's like, like while the Klingon Trey Murphy thing during the Jason Tatum minutes, that would be great, but you need someone else who can handle the ball, run a little bit of offense. And while Pritchard probably could scale up in the regular season, you don't really want Pritchard and White to have that in the playoffs. And a guy who's proven he can do it in the playoffs before, even if he was in a very specific context playing off of Nikola Jokic, is Jamal Murray. And Jamal Murray is, same kind of situation where his trade value isn't going to be nearly as much as it should be because how much money he makes. And it's easier to find guards than it is to find two-way wings, obviously. So I would think that Jaylen has a little bit more trade value. But in this situation, you're also getting Cam Johnson, who I know he just had a rough season, but has been throughout his career, I would say, better than Sam Hauser.
I would say more useful. Sam Hauser's a good defender. Like I'm sorry, he's not good at a lot of other things. He's not like a plus rebounder. He's definitely not a ball handler. He's not a unitasker shooter though, because
he's also pretty bad. I shouldn't say pretty bad.
Yeah,
his shooting drops in the playoffs is what I'm trying to say. He had like 2 games in that Sixer series where he couldn't miss, but he's a career 37% guy in the playoffs, and he's played a decent amount of playoff games. That's
pretty good.
I know
playoffs.
It's not bad, but if your whole thing is that you're a shooter, I would want it to be maybe upwards of 40. Then again, Cam Johnson just had this terrible year, these terrible playoffs, and he still shot like 45% from 3. That's the one thing I feel like with Cam Johnson, even when he shoots or even when he plays like shit, he's gonna shoot, he's gonna make shots. And I do ultimately think that, I was gonna say, even during this down year, Cam Johnson shot 43% from 3. Like, Cam is a legit top 5-10 wing shooter in the NBA. Let's see, in the playoffs for his career, he's 40% in the playoffs. Or he just shot 31% in the playoffs this past year, but on his career, he's 40% in the playoffs.
My issue with the Cam Johnson fit is I actually have a problem with him being an expiring is the thing, because I think the Celtics want to build up salary, and I think with him being an expiring contract, you're not going to have to necessarily overpay him, but to retain his salary slot, you've got another inflection point there. I think I really don't think the Celtics are going for the title this year. I think if you put a gun to their head, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to get one big stupid contract, which is why they were linked to the Blazers. Was the Jeremy Grant contract was like this, the John Morant contract was like this, was the contracts that were big expirings next off season. So you have the salary to go get one of these other overpaid guys to slot in and be your new number 2 behind Jason Tatum, or whoever is available. If the Cavs have another disaster year, you now have a big expiring contract and all of your pick capital to go get Donovan Mitchell or something like that.
Also, if you want to do the Miami Heat thing, right? Think about it like this. The Heat for years were just we're not trading for B-level stars. We're not trading for these guys that are really good, but they're not Giannis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before we talk about this real quick, I just want to cover this. I think that the 2 teams that would be very safe with their assets over the next year, let's say, are the Lakers and the Celtics, because Jokic didn't sign that extension. Jokic not signing his extension means that there are going to be teams, and not a lot of teams, that are going to be good enough to draw Jokic, have anything to trade for Jokic, and then on top of that, also want Jokic to play. Jokic wants to play with whoever. And if that is if we get to the end of this free agency period and Jokic still hasn't signed an extension, everyone is going to be basically looking at that and being like, all right, can we steal Jokic? And if you just made the trade for, Jamal Murray and Cam Johnson or whatever, it's the thing for years that the Heat were like, we're not doing business with teams where we want their best player, basically. Like, we're not trading with the Bucks because we want Giannis. So I do wonder, I was going to say, are there teams around the NBA that are loading up for next summer if Jokic ever becomes available? And the Lakers cap space is the thing that I want to keep an eye on, because if the Lakers do a bunch of moves where they're signing like 1-year guys, that's setting off alarms in my head, where I'm like, oh, they're signing like 2-year deals with a team option on the second year because they have a way to keep a max cap space option for next offseason. And Luka and Jokic are good friends. Like, I do genuinely think that if everything goes to piss and shit for the Nuggets, that we either could have a trade deadline or a next summer where we're getting Jokic rumors.
I don't like that. I don't want the Lakers to be good again. I'm doing crying SpongeBob fish. I don't want the Lakers to be good again. But they would trade him before they did that, though, right? Like, so I mean it would be
most of the time, 99 times out of 100, we see that. No. But is this the Kevin Durant with the Thunder situation where it's like, if you have Jokic on your team and you have a chance to win, like do you just do as much as you? It's not like the Giannis thing, because the Giannis thing was different because Giannis was, one, not as available as Jokic, and then two, on top of that, it was also like they had just lost their whole fucking team. Like, they had to trade Giannis because what do they have left? Like, Jokic still has the core from his championship team, and they have other talent on that team. Like, I think that if everyone was healthy on the Nuggets this past year and they didn't have all that like crazy shit happen to them, they wouldn't have won the finals or anything, but they probably could have won a playoff series or made a run. Like, I think between losing Gordon and Jokic not being 100% in the playoffs and getting absolutely just like destroyed on defense, I do think that ultimately made it so that they, like, the Wolves also just have their number. But like, the long and short of this for me is, I think that the Nuggets, if they can do a little bit of a pivot this offseason, have a chance to win the finals next year. And if you have a chance to win the finals, you usually don't trade your best player, even if you risk losing them for nothing.
That's a good point. There is a position. It was like that with LeBron in Cleveland, right? Like there comes a position. We just don't see it happen very often these days, because
Durant was the last one, really.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Kawhi, but Kawhi, they won the finals, and now he might be going back to Toronto.
Somebody said he's fleeing the country before the RICO charges come down.
I know, I saw that.
Really, really good. Very, very, very funny. No. Like, but like, yeah. I mean, we're gonna talk about Kawhi later, but like, I think this Jaylen Brown situation, I still think that the Celtics are probably like looking for picks and stuff. I mean, at this point, honestly, the package, I'm kind of surprised. I understand why, because they have all the time in the world. Why would they like hit the accelerate button this way? But like, a Fox and picks package makes a lot of sense for the Spurs. And that's again, another variant of what you were talking about with the Nuggets, where that's a Jaylen Brown destination where he's your second best player. He's a really good second best player, right? A proven championship level second best player, especially if you've got one or two best guys in the team in front of him and they play like a different position. And I think it would be even a better fit on the Spurs, just because they don't have their set everywhere else. And it would just give them that extra offensive pop and isolation.
And my pitch for that one is so easy. It's like, start Jaylen at the 3, have all these 3 rim pressure guys with him, and then you always have shooters on that team with Champagny and Vassell and all those guys. And then my other pitch for that would be like, even if you lose Jaylen Brown in 2 years for nothing and you don't extend him, like, you got off the Fox contract. Like, the point, you now can play Dylan Harper at point guard, and you can fill in the gaps. And like, I've thought that one just made sense because it kind of makes everyone's problems go away, where it's like, all right, cool. The Celtics have a new lead guard. I think Fox had a good season until the playoffs. I do think that the Celtics would be very hesitant to take on that contract in general. But if they're getting paid plenty in picks and swaps, then they might consider it. But the long and short is that they are the Spurs haven't been interested at all from what we know.
Can you pull up JK's comment there on the Jaylen Brown is an innovator. Jaylen Brown can transform
Elizabeth Holmes mode.
He can disrupt any defense. And that is what we're about here. We're about disruption. Jaylen Brown CEO time.
Thank you, Silicon Sam, for the pitch on why do I once again I said this with Nick with Chet Holmgren, and obviously Jaylen and Chet are better than brain broken Ben Simmons, back broken Ben Simmons. But I just remember during that offseason, this was really the first version of this, where it was like guy that could potentially be traded that no one really wants, even though you thought he had a ton of trade value, and it's going to take a while. And our GM was a sociopath and held on to him until he got what he wanted. And the thing I kept saying that offseason was just like, I was just like basically a businessman, like just making pitches on why Ben Simmons would be great for your franchise. Like I was doing infomercials for Ben Simmons, basically.
How did you do this for like a half year, dude? I'm like, it's been like 3 weeks and I'm going insane. I can't do this for like months. This is crazy.
So the only reason that people are even here now is because that happened, because no one knew about the podcast before the Ben Simmons thing. Like that was really the first thing. So it was really every week of me just losing my, so not only, this is why I need you to understand why I hate Daryl Morey so much, is not only was that his second season as our GM, but then he tried to do the same thing again 2 years later with the player that he traded Ben Simmons for a year and a half later, really. And then after that, did a whole year of wait until next summer, we're going to have cap space. So he has just been slowly making me lose my mind over his fucking sociopathic control freak bullshit. And I'm so glad he's fucking gone, because it really does. It drives you insane, especially when it's just the same conversations over and over. And I had, we had 9 months of this basically.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, I can't, like, I don't know how you Sixers fans, you guys are God's strongest soldiers, because I've been doing this for like 2 to 3 weeks, and I'm already like fucking like throwing my feces at the wall and fucking like crawling like into like fucking the attic and gnawing on rats and shit. Like this is like insane. Like I can't deal with this.
You live like this?
Literally, like, yes. Actually, my apartment's never been cleaner because I don't want to think about anything else. So
you're going OCD mode.
Yeah.
Slop got me going OCD.
I had a house guest a couple of weekends ago, and they informed me that I have bad toilet paper, and that really got in my brain. So now I have to now I've got to go up one more. The Scott was not cutting it. You got
to prove them wrong.
Yeah, they called me out on being a Scott household, but like it's fucking cheap, okay? And I'm a single guy. Like I don't need this shit, man. Like come on.
Get a bidet, brother. Change your life.
I guess I gotta do a bidet thing. So yeah.
So all right. The next thing I did want to talk about real quick, because look, we've gotten a bunch of shit that just feels like I don't know what I can and can't trust right now. It feels like everyone is going off the slop right now with these rumors. Like I can't tell. Do you first off, before we get into the Kawhi stuff?
Oh my God.
Sam Amick just reported. Oh no, I'm sorry. It was Slater, the Warriors guy, just reported that the Warriors and Wizards have discussed an Anthony Davis for Jimmy Butler trade in the last day, which obviously would have had to be. That's why Draymond ended up opting out, to give them like the flexibility to potentially be able to go trace AD and then get LeBron. Do you think this is real, or do you think this is Clutch and all of them kind of coordinating to get possibly all of these guys paid?
Wendy basically said Draymond was being a company man and taking a haircut to get both Bron and AD leverage.
Right.
I
in
think
Wizards
that's
and Lakers, right?
Yeah. I think that's a little bit too 12D chess. I think that Draymond thinks they're getting someone. I don't think Draymond does that unless he thinks so. He could be wrong, but I do think that Draymond believes that they're getting like Anthony Davis and LeBron. I mean, that's just so funny. I mean, Anthony Davis, the funniest thing, if the Wizards cave on this, they are the worst front office of all time. Like,
I mean, there's no way you can max both Anthony Davis and Trae Young and give them max extensions in the same offseason, considering what your circumstance is.
Will was saying you like have to fire them like for the optics of this Anthony Davis thing. I think it's like water. I think this barely matters. I think that
if they get a better return for him, then I don't really care. Like, because
I don't even really care if it's a worse return, to be totally honest. It's you tried it didn't work. Whatever. Like, I don't know.
I was gonna say the Trae Young thing, that extension
is horrific.
We like both trades at the time just because they were such buy low opportunities.
Yeah.
But to then turn around and give both of the maxes, like you fuck yourself.
That's horrific. That would be like the worst GMing of like my lifetime. Like true woke front office status.
Yeah. Do this. So the thing I just wanted to say real quick about the Anthony Davis part of this, like, they didn't really give away much. They gave away the 30th pick in this draft, and then they gave away that fake, funny enough, the Warriors pick that's a fake pick, basically, that that was top 20 protected. So they gave up 2 late first-round picks and salary filler for a chance on if Anthony Davis can get healthy and buy in, we might get someone who's a top 25 player in the NBA or 30 player.
He was just a massive baby about the whole thing. And sometimes that happens. Like, like if he had played for them and like looked good, it could have been good, but he like didn't even want to try because he's still.
If they get 2 protected picks back from the Warriors that are like lottery protected, and then they both end up as like mid to late firsts, like along with Jimmy Butler, and like I wouldn't expect Jimmy Butler to play next year, but like Jimmy Butler at some point, I'm assuming will play basketball again, and like.
Jimmy Butler with AJ could be kind of cinema, to be totally honest.
What I was going to say was I was going to say is that I will be worried that Jimmy could do the same thing. But then again, if you're basically just restocking your draft capital and getting this other massive expiring contract for next trade deadline, if Jimmy doesn't want to be there, then you do the move. Like I don't really think you should try to force Anthony Davis to stay there and pay him to stay because. If I'm the Wizards, like I just drafted AJ with the first pick in the draft. Like that kind of solved a lot of my issues I was having before.
Chill.
Yeah, chill. And also, like, I don't want to have a guy who doesn't want to be there. Like, say what you will about Trae. Obviously, Trae bought in because no one else wanted Trae, and they're the only team that was willing to give him $50 million. But at least Trae's bought in. Like, you need to have guys that want to be there. Like, you don't want to be trying to do a rebuild with all these young guys and then have your vets just be like, I don't want to fucking play here.
Jimmy Butler might want to be there because, as we've established, he's a fake tough guy. But the one true prey he has is underwhelming rookies. So, like, you just give him Bub Carrington, like the alien that Sid puts on Scud's nose when he comes home in the first Toy Story movie. That's what Bub Carrington becomes at that point.
What I was going to say is that Jimmy Butler also, we've never seen someone perform when they have a chip on their shoulder quite like Jimmy Butler. Like how many, like with every injury and trade that Jimmy Butler suffers, he gets a little bit more powerful, even though he's 37 years old now.
They're going to pull Rachel Nichols out of the fucking, the healing tank from Dragon Ball Z that they have her in. To come out and do another one-on-one with Jimmy Butler about how he was given up on after his latest injury. Yep.
I was going to say, how many times has he been traded and then had amazing performances after that, especially in the playoffs? Quick aside here. So the obvious joke is the Unk Expendables that we've been kind of making about the Warriors. This would be the ultimate.
Oh my God, dude.
The ultimate LeBron, Steph, Draymond, AD, possibly Porzingis. Al Horford is still there. And by the way,
the Unk of rookies.
Yeah. They drafted the oldest player in the first round. Did we get a Porzingis extension? Yep, there we go. Porzingis extended. So we got, even though, by the way, Porzingis isn't old. He's just physically old. Like he has the body of a 50-year-old man.
He doesn't have a soul.
Yeah, I
So
was gonna say
he's
only 30, but he feels much older.
He's
2 years,
he's dead
million.
because his doll-like eyes have no life behind them.
2 years, 40 million, Sam, with a player option on the second year. That's more than I expected.
I was gonna say that's more than I expected, but like that's just what just what he gets paid. I mean, it's a lot of money for 38 games that he will play in these 2 years, but per
game basis, no one's making more.
Basis, $1 million a game is something else. But I don't know, like maybe it could work out. Basically, what you're doing here with this Porzingis thing is he's like bad, but maybe one of the years he's not bad. Like, and if you have him with Anthony,
you're just doing
Davis,
the roulette.
Yeah, if you have him with Anthony Davis, because they can't
Lothian roulette. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, they can't like trade this because it would hard cap them, and they have a pretty high payroll, right? Like,
yeah,
so
I mean they have so much money on the Bucks.
Yeah, so they can't. Yeah, so this couldn't be like a sign and trade either. Like Porzingis can't be in an Anthony Davis deal.
No, it would have been announced. You can't flip him already. By the way, that is a good point. They played the injury roulette in 2022 and won the finals with
that's true.
Otto Porter Jr. and all those guys. Gary Payton. Yeah. I was gonna say. But just real quick, by the way, the thing that I wanted to talk about was when we talked about
Harrison Barnes back, by the way, for $8 million.
Do not give a fuck about that.
That is a champion. That is an NBA.
How much?
$8 million. $8 million.
I thought he was going to be a vet min guy. So there you go.
Yep.
Did you see Kevin post this earlier today? He posted the Expendables GIF, the Expendables 3 GIF. I have a question for you. I've never seen any of the Expendables movies. I obviously know the concept is, we got, Bruce Willis and all these action stars and I get the point of it, right? Why is Kelsey Grammer in the third Expendables? He was Niles.
They're trying to kill me, Niles.
We put Fraser Crane in the Expendables. I was like, how is this a thing? I don't understand why they thought and Kev said back, well, he does share the same politics as Sylvester Stallone and all that.
Yes, that's true. I do think you have to understand those movies. It's like Sylvester Stallone just getting his friends funny,
right?
Like,
which they're action
like, cool. Yeah.
It's
funny, like this is it's basically Slop Fest, but for movies.
Right.
Like
it's like people on. It's like when a rapper blows up and then it's like, all right, and then he comes out with an album with his crew where it's like. A$AP Rocky first album gets big, and then he's like, okay, we'll put out the A$AP Mob mixtapes, and then that is just it's the old white action star version of doing that, just getting your friends paid. So yes, Skip, that line was a bar. Skip might be back. I'm not even gonna lie. He's hating on Wemby and he's calling them the Olden State Warriors.
Yeah, well, let's go. They're in a lot of trouble, dude. They're going to be, even if they get all of these players, I don't think that they're going to make the playoffs, dude. I really don't.
So here's the question I have for you.
Yeah.
If they had hired Dunleavy 2 to 3 years earlier,
oh my God, totally different ballgame.
Because think about it like this. Right now, they have more. I know because it sucks because the players are older with Jimmy and Horford and Porzingis and then obviously Steph and Draymond.
Yeah.
But the young players they've never had a top 10 pick during this time. Like the highest they picked is Yaxel at 11. And they have Yaxel, Pods, Will Richard, Quentin Post. Now they're not crazy, whatever.
Look at the lacrosse guy. What's his name?
Guy Santos, Pat Spencer.
Pat Spencer, that's who I was trying to
Pat Spencer is almost like 30, but it's very much Yaxel coded. Where it's like he's actually 28. But what I'm trying to say is that first off, they should have hired him before the 2020 draft because that could have literally changed the trajectory of this 2 timelines thing. But they have more young talent now than they had when they had the top picks. When they had the 3 lottery picks in back-to-back years, they've come away with more quality role player talent on rookie contracts and young guys than they had during that. And they've gotten these guys in the second round, the mid-first, undrafted free agents. Like it's kind of crazy that they have done a better job than the previous front office with way less to work with.
Yeah. I just don't know if they try to get LeBron and AD, like what are they sending out? Like is kind of
they'll just give LeBron the MLE. I'm assuming that they'll figure out a way, or maybe there's a deal with the Lakers, but like I don't really think the Lakers would want anyone on this team. Yeah. Who would the Lakers want on this team? Because Draymond's coming back.
Well, they want. So that's kind of what I'm getting at. Are they offering one of the young guys? Are they offering like Pods or something like that? Or
Moody tore his ACL, so I would have said Moody and something else before, like Moody and a pick or something. But I think that he would just take the MLE. Like they would figure out a way to get to the MLE. Although I don't even know if that's possible. Maybe that's why Draymond opted out so that they can do that. They get the MLE and then they trade Jimmy Butler for Anthony Davis. They trade Jimmy Butler in like 2 firsts. For Anthony Davis, because Jimmy Butler's not going to play really next year. I mean, Anthony Davis won't either. But
I was going to say, I wonder who plays more games next year, Anthony Davis or Jimmy Butler. They should have a line on that.
I know that everyone is upset over like the LaMelo trade, and we defended it more maybe because we have a soft spot for LaMelo. But
people were saying that it was bad.
Oh, dude, people. Everyone tore apart the trade. I mean, Bill, I expected Bill to, but like
Bill's boomer coded. Like
the trade grades.
Did people not realize what a bad situation the Wolves were in? Like,
they had nowhere to go.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
there's no opportunity cost that matters.
It is a risk, yes, but like,
sure.
You're fucked anyway. Like, you might as well. Like, you know, like and at least this has like real upside. You know, this isn't. I don't know, like and you didn't mortgage yourself crazy. Like the price wasn't that. This isn't the Damian Lillard trade that the Bucks made, where you're like multiple way far out picks. This is like
it's kind of similar. It's kind of similar. The Bucks only really gave up 2 picks at a swap. It's 1 pick and 1 for sure swap, possibly multiple swaps, but more likely that it's just 1 pick and a swap and Naz Reid.
Yeah, I don't know, like. I get that like LaMelo's injured a lot, but he's also like undeniably like a top 15 player when he's healthy. It's just
and I also just want to
around
real quick the difference between Anthony Davis and Damian Lillard and all of the guys that have been traded. LaMelo Ball is 24 years old.
Yeah, like what I'm saying. Yeah,
like that is the difference. Is that like
if this works, it saves your franchise.
Exactly. Like, if it works, the upside is unbelievable. Like maybe it doesn't work, and maybe you're fucked either way.
Yeah, maybe you're trading Ant in 3 years. You were doing that anyway. Like,
right. So maybe you're completely right. But also, I'd rather take a risk on that guy at 24 years old than take a risk on that guy, especially in like an Anthony Davis situation where it's like this guy has barely played basketball the last few years, and he's also in his 30s. You know what I mean? So the long and short of it is that it feels like everyone is going full boomer mode with the LaMelo thing. And I expected Bill to, because Bill's whole thing is like being injured is a character flaw. like you're a bad person if you get injured. The only person, as people pointed out in the Discord today, the only person who's ever gotten the injury excuse in their career is Bill Walton. I don't know why Bill Walton gets it and all these other players don't. I'll allow you to put the dots together in your head. But the last rumor that we got today, really not even a rumor, it just kind of seems like an inevitability at this point, is that Kawhi is going back to the Raptors, which when it first came out, it just like the LaMelo thing, I didn't believe it. I was like, is this a bit? He's going to go back to Toronto after all of this? Like apparently, I didn't even know this. There were Raptors fans pulling this up on Twitter earlier. Kawhi went back and did some like community basketball thing with them earlier this year. And everyone's like, that's weird. Like what the, like, I don't understand why, I don't understand why Kawhi was basically, on like Kawhi and the Raptors having a reunion is something that I could have never imagined in 100 years is what I'm trying to say. Like I didn't see this coming at all. And to the point where I guess it's just kind of the circumstances of the market where no one wants to pay Kawhi that much money because he's injured all the time. And the Raptors are one of the few teams that have their draft picks. They have contracts they want to get rid of in Brandon Ingram and Grady Dick and who else knows. From what I understand, the trade would be something like those two plus maybe 2 first-round picks, and then one of like the Jamal Shed, Jacoby Walter style. Like, they're not going to trade Colin Murray Boyles. I know there's one of our
talk about
fans.
that real quick, because I'm like, Kevin did this too. People are just throwing Colin Murray Boyles in like trade packages. They're not. He's the second best player on the team.
If they traded for Giannis, I would have been like, okay, but they're not. No, I'm saying if rumors came out that they wanted Giannis and they were willing to include Colin Murray Boyles as like the centerpiece, I would be like, okay, it's Giannis. But like, they're not doing it for 35-year-old Kawhi Leonard.
They're not doing it for Jaylen Brown. Like, they're not doing it for any of these guys. I was kind of shocked at how many people like don't understand how good Colin Murray Boyles is, and the fact that he was doing all of that like as a rookie. Like, I was lower on him on the draft. He's Turbo Himothy. Like, that's a real fucking piece and a very valuable player in the playoffs. Like, I think people need to like understand that his trade value is like astronomical. Like, I would give up quite a bit to get Colin Murray Boyles on my team if I were
the last guy I said I would give up 4 first-round picks to have on the Sixers was Jaylen Johnson before he made the All-Star leap. That's how I feel about Colin Murray Boyles.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's something else. But anyway, sorry. We were talking about the other thing. It's a very funny Toronto getting away with having the worst books of all time somehow. Like, this would be a very classic. How is Bobby Webster going to wriggle his way out of this jam? Like they might get away with it, which is kind of crazy. Like,
it's also, it requires context though, right? Like Kawhi, we talk about with LaMelo and all of these guys with the injury stuff, AD, whatever. By the way, someone brought the Dion Waitress, who's a Heat fan in our Discord, brought this up. Giannis is better than Colin Murray Boyles. I said that, and then you said, but this was Bill. Did you hear Bill on the podcast do this with Jaylen Brown?
No.
Sam. I was going to say Sam. Yeah. Zach was like, well, Giannis is older than Jaylen Brown, but he's obviously better. And Bill goes,
Go on.
Literally trying to argue.
King.
And basically his argument was, I like availability. I like as you play.
That's always been Bill's like boomerist like take. Bill, was it you who posted it? Somebody posted that like Bill sees, maybe it was either you or Richard.
I posted the character flaw. Dan said this. Dan from the web, our friend, said this years ago, where he was like, Bill just views the injury stuff like character flaws. Like, he just feels like that makes you a bad person, and and everyone's gonna get a kick out of this because I literally just talked about this 3 minutes ago and you weren't paying attention. But But what I'm trying to apparently our Bill Simmons got upset over me saying that, but like, it's true. And by the way, in LaMelo's situation, I don't know the logistics. Maybe the Hornets do. Maybe the Hornets have background information that when he gets injured, he doesn't give a fuck. But a lot of the times, Bill acts like it is just like, it's like, we know that Giannis is not like trying hard to play and not be injured. Like, okay, maybe this past season he didn't care quite as much because he knew he was gone. But in general, Giannis is like a fucking psycho worker dude. Like, we know that he is a grind set guy. Like, that is not Giannis at all. And Bill tries to conflate like him not being available for the playoffs and him not, whatever. Like, any team in the NBA is taking Giannis over Jaylen Brown. I don't care how many games Jaylen Brown plays. Like, sorry, like that's just. At the end of the day, talent is talent, and that's why these trades are made. Some of them work, some of them don't.
However, there was not a good Giannis package either. So who's to say?
Wait, what?
There wasn't a good Giannis package either, so it's impossible to say which is more valuable.
I mean, considering the circumstances, that was a pretty good Giannis package. If they had traded him a year ago. Also, he said he wouldn't extend with like 3 teams that tried to trade for him.
Maybe Jaylen Brown is saying he won't extend.
This is perverted. You can't go Bill mode on me right now.
Well, who's to say? I'm simply saying there's no way to objectively conclude that.
It's impossible to say who has more trade value.
Yeah. I mean, I think obviously the fact that the Celtics were willing to do the trade tells you all you need to know about that. But it's a very silly thing. I just think to go back to the Kawhi thing though, like a very funny thing to do, like just a very funny thing to do to like win the title, leave, go like drag the Clippers through some of the worst piss and shit you've ever seen in your entire life. And it wasn't
you didn't know how good you had it. You didn't know how good you had it. You got to go back to your ex.
It's not all Kawhi Leonard's fault, but like at the very minimum, maybe he's not in a hot dog costume, but he's at least wearing a hot dog hat. Like in the like who did this like Clippers thing. Like so,
but also that is this is when Bill talks about this, it will be a dating analogy, by the way. When when you're hot and you're 28 years old and you're in the prime of your life and everyone wants you, it's easy to go and want to go live in Southern California, but then when you want to settle down, you end up back in the cold of Toronto, where you were comfortable. And by the way, all this is that Toronto is like, we'll give you the max, and the Clippers are like, we're done. Like, we're ready to move on. Like, it didn't work out, and like ultimately, you had some of the best years of your career here. You couldn't stay healthy, and we want to go in a different direction. We just got a top 5 pick in Keaton Wagler. We have Darius Garland. We have flexibility that we want to be able to use here in the next few years to make a more competitive team around the young guys. And Kawhi I'm a little surprised that Kawhi, like, I do feel like we have a little bit of amnesia when it comes to Kawhi, because like Kawhi we talk about these guys, is the biggest health risk of all of them. Even if he plays more games than Anthony Davis, well, maybe not Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis might just be done. But like the large majority of these older guys that have the injury concerns don't have something that could just kind of rear its head and end their career. Like I feel like with Kawhi, where it's just like the knee stuff has kind of been persistent. It's basically like him and Joel. They both have very similar knee problems, and they're going to the same doctor. And Kawhi has been more available than Joel. But like a year and a half ago, we thought this guy's career was over. And now we're sitting here like, he could end up going for not anything crazy, like Brandon Ingram and Grady Dick and whatever, the draft picks and whatever fringe young guys it takes. But I'm just surprised that everyone's like, yeah, this is a no-brainer for the Raptors, because there is the chance that the bottom falls out. But I guess you could also look at it in the same way that we talked about the De'Aaron Fox thing with the Jaylen Brown trade, where it's like, yeah, even if Kawhi is cooked, like you get off the Brandon Ingram contract early, and you're still going to have enough good talent on this team.
That's the big thing, is because the Clippers are an acceptable trade partner for your toxic fucking money that you have leaking off your books. So like, I'm okay with taking a Kawhi Leonard gamble as long as you're like kind of, you can't go crazy. He can't get a max. But like, if you play like,
well, they're maxing him. They're going to give him a 2-year max or 3-year max.
That's what I'm saying. 2 or 3 year max is like, okay. But like,
yeah,
that stuff was going to be bad anyway. Like if you get to the playoffs and he's healthy, which is a massive, massive if, like, yeah, that's way better than having, it's way better than having Brandon Ingram. Like, and if you're not, like, it is what
you can trot out a pretty demonic lineup. I mean, defensively, like Scotty Barnes, Colin Murray Boyles, and Kawhi just had the best defensive year he's had in forever.
Yeah,
that was his best season defensively in like 5 years. Yeah. And then you just add in like competent guard play from Quickly, competent RJ Barrett, which you can't always rely on, and you also can't rely on Quickly's health, but like defensively, they're going to be able to roll out, especially if they can keep Jamal Shed. Like the offense will be very similar to the old Toronto Raptors get it out of the mud offense, but defensively, they're going to be incredible. I mean, it's going to be impossible to score on that team.
Like things aren't going well. House, I've been trying to get you to move out here. We hear about, I've heard from nephew Kyle how the dating scene is here. You go through, somebody tells you you're not good enough. What do? You start working out. You start looking a little better. All of a sudden, you start liking on Instagram. You start liking the old exes things. Hey, thinking about you.
Hey, this is more of a Russillo bet. I'm realizing as I'm
Yeah,
kind
I
of
was
coming
gonna
through.
say,
As I'm going through it, this isn't really Bill.
You think back, you're drinking a whiskey on your boat at, you're thinking about that girl from 97 in Worcester. You had a it's like a very specific experience he had.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, am I like chomping at the bit to go back into the preschool to get down on one knee again? No, but like, would I do it? Yeah, and I mean, I think that's where Kawhi is in his career. You got to go back to the preschool, man.
Yeah,
like it's the site of your biggest humiliation. Right. It's
but on the other side of that, on the other side of that humiliation is glory.
Maybe it goes a little bit different, and it doesn't always go different, but like maybe it goes a little bit different this time. And it's somebody different. Maybe she has kids now. That's fine. That's it is. Fuck. We need to. What do you think? How much Patreon money do we have on hand? What do you think we would cost to buy Russillo out of his contract, and then like with Barstool, and we hire him, but we put him up against AI Bill, but don't tell him. Like, look, I'm not into like. I don't think AI is good.
There's one use that is ethical and moral.
One ethical use.
Simmons and Russillo Sunday pods back.
Real Russillo AI Bill on the other side of it. I'm just saying, would be cinema.
But there's also 20 years of Bill out there to like grab from.
Oh my god, it would be so.
Where
good.
It's like, because like if you're programming an AI bot for someone that is a relatively new figure, it's not going to be easy. You have so much shit out there with Bill that you literally could just feed it hours and hours, hundreds of thousands of hours of podcasts of Bill into and you could literally get the closest thing possible to him without it being him.
I see you're looking for collapse doggy style. Are you looking for the most humiliating position to walk in on your girlfriend in? The Bill, the idea of doing a shot-for-shot remake of her, but it's Russillo, and instead of Scarlett Johansson, it's Bill. I don't like it. I don't think so. I don't think you can give that to him. Chopper. Russillo's looking at his thing, and he's like, "Oh, Zach LaVine, are you gonna say the line?" I think he's gonna be picking that one up.
I'm so glad you brought that up because that's a perfect transition. I wanted to do our favorite. I'll go through the options that were picked up today, and we can do our favorite because we got a reverse Russillo today.
Let's go. Yeah,
we got the rare reverse Russillo where it's instead of be picking that one up, Bradley Beal declined his option, which I thought was crazy. After the injuries and the last few years he's had $5.6 million. So do you think that is him taking a vet minimum with the Miami Heat, or do you think that's him just getting like a slightly similar offer somewhere else?
I'll say this. It's Demon Bartlestein who that wasn't an error. You know what I'm saying? Like Bartlestein has earned the benefit of the doubt. This is not those frauds at CAA who had Isaiah Hartenstein fucking in the poorhouse. Like Isaiah Hartenstein, we're gonna have to get a GoFundMe going for him.
Yeah, what has CAA done successfully recently in the NBA?
Yeah.
Anyway,
nothing.
Who are the current NBA champions?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
That's the old CAA.
The old CAA. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They all left. All their talent left. No, but I think it's probably him going to Miami. I think if I had to guess, Bradley Beal said, "I want to play," and there's not a lot of places that Bradley Beal will be able to play. And I think Miami is one of them.
Sure.
Part of the reason is, especially after today, where Andrew Wiggins kind of turbo fucked the Heat, and I salute him for that.
Yeah. So for anyone who missed this, he opted into his contract. So the Heat, usually when we get these kind of extensions, it's we're going to decline your option and we'll rework your deal. So Wiggins basically took his $30 million up front this year And in the next 2 years, he's going to get a little over 30 million over those next 2 years, which, by the way, is a good deal for the Heat in the next 2 years after this one. But this year, it makes it kind of hard for them to fill out the rest of the roster.
Yeah,
because they're hard capped at the apron because of the Giannis trade.
Yeah, so that was the thing. Is everyone looked at this? They looked at the hard cap. They looked at how much space they were going to say, and say, okay, well, Andrew Wiggins has a big balloon, basically player option that he obviously should pick up. But what the Heat can do is they'll say, hey, let's do like a 3-year, $60 million contract, and we'll smooth the shit out for you. And then we have a little bit more room right now. The first year of Giannis's deal, he's the youngest he's going to be. Gives us more of a chance to fill out this roster. Every year this goes on, Giannis is getting a little bit older and the injuries are piling up. We really need to make sure we're putting the best team around Giannis we can from day one. Instead, Andrew Wiggins said, fuck that. I'm taking my money.
Give me my money now.
And like, it seems like they just offered him the same deal, but like it's crazy that didn't get smoothed somewhere.
So someone explained it like this.
Yeah.
Next year, they're going to have a lot more options because Wiggins is he's on a scam deal after this year.
Right.
And so one, it makes the Wiggins contract easier to trade if you do run into a trade where you can upgrade the roster. And two, they'll be able to access like their full MLE and biannual exception next offseason, in addition to technically being able to use part of it this offseason. So there might not be a guy that's out there, right? Like maybe they think they'll like, we'll give $6 million of it to Bradley Beal on the chance that Bradley Beal can be, you know, our starting shooting guard. And like, we can put like Davion Mitchell, Bradley Beal, Giannis, Bam, and Wiggins as our starting 5. And maybe that gives us a better chance this year. And then a year from now, we can go get someone that we really like with it. Because, by the way, you can get trades into the MLE as well, too. But they're going to have to fill out the rest of their roster with, like, $20 million unless they can dump Nikola Jovic. So they're probably only going to use part of the MLE. Maybe it's Quentin Grimes, someone like that, as another guy. That makes a lot of sense for them. And then they can basically just do vet mins plus the part of the MLE this year, and then next year they really can be. But like, this is kind of what we see time and time again with these teams that blow their wad for the superstar level players, that they have a year where they just don't have. We saw it with Donovan Mitchell. We saw it with LeBron.
Yeah.
Like, remember when LeBron went to the Heat, when all those guys went to the Heat, the first year that team is not good. Like that team,
Joel Anthony was starting for that team, I believe.
Yeah.
Like
it was just Mario Chalmers basically on the roster.
Mike Miller, I think, was their big MLE signing.
Like, I think that was the next year.
No, it was that. Oh,
you're right. Yeah. You're right. It was because they took a little bit less so they could get Mike Miller on the MLE. But they didn't get Shane Battier and Ray Allen and all the other guys, and all the guys that they took flyers on at the end of their career, like Rashard Lewis, and I know he didn't really play all that much.
They got all the ring chasers.
Right.
Dexter Pittman was on that fucking roster, man.
Jermaine O'Neal, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
There's
some. God, who else was on that? I would love to do some guys with the first iteration of the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat team.
Birdman, Chris Anderson.
Birdman, yep. Yeah, that was a classic guy. I feel like we're forgetting one rotation guy, but that's all right.
I said Mario Chalmers. I said Norris Cole. Did we say Norris Cole?
Norris Cole was probably one. Yeah, that was one. I was going to say
he was just on Jeff Teague's podcast.
Let's go, dude. What a demon. By the way,
he was talking about LeBron killing Wade in one-on-ones.
That's awesome, dude. Let's go. By the way, I want a quick shout out to friend of the pod, Jake Fisher, for winning our first slop off. People said he didn't have it in him.
No.
Shams, the ambulance chaser Shams, trying to carry water for
all over himself.
Yeah, and Jake Fisher had it first, had him in a headlock. The Miami Heat fans tried to kill him. They tried to kill Jake Fisher. Big Jake styled on them. On them. Won a head-to-head slop off with Shams too.
He said Chris Haynes got hit like I got hit, but I'm still breathing. the thing that I just wanted to say was
Mike Bibby. That was the other one.
Mike
Sorry,
Bibby's
that's who
a
I
good
was
ring
trying
chaser.
to think of. Yeah,
Yes.
that was the one because I think he was on the first iteration too.
Sean Marion. I didn't even remember Sean Marion, to be honest, but there you go. Apparently, Sean Marion was also on that team at some point.
He was on the Mavs because I remember.
Yeah,
yeah.
Was he on the? Oh yeah, he was on the Heat afterwards. I think
okay.
towards the end. Yeah. God, there was a lot of ring chasers during that era.
I think
they traded for Sean Marion though.
Haslam's the other one.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Haslam was the OG on that.
Haslamberg.
He was already he was technically in the prime of his career, but he's the OG on the Heat in general. Yeah. By the way, I just want to go through a few things that we didn't get a chance to cover. Yeah. I mean, the Phoenix Suns made one of the worst trades I've ever seen in my life.
They still got it, man. They still got it.
Ishbia could go back into his bag occasionally and trade for an abuser from Michigan State who has 1 year left on his contract. Is like, I just think about the starting lineup for the Phoenix Suns next year. Jaylen Green, Devin Booker, Miles Bridges, Dylan Brooks, and one of Mark Williams or Kaman Malawach. And obviously they have Colin Gillespie coming off the bench. Like, they have some guys on their bench that are decent. But you basically, and the thing with this trade, so for anyone who missed it, was Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, and their unprotected 2033 first. The second they can get one of those, the second they can get one of those firsts, they basically do whatever they can to trade it. And they've been interested in Miles Bridges for a while. And we've made how we feel about Miles Bridges. Like, he's should not be in the league. But the long and short of it for this trade is like, they gave up basically all of their shooting in Royce. Like, say what you will about them as playoff players, Royce O'Neal and Grayson Allen. Part of the reason this team was competitive and scrappy and fun last year was those two guys outside of the Celtics. They are some of the deepest range shooters in the NBA, and they let it fly off of the catch in a way that just provides so much space for Dylan Brooks and Devin Booker and all of them to operate. And Colin Gillespie too. And then they basically have 3 ball stopper guys starting next to Devin Booker on the wing. And I'm just like, I think they made the team worse. They got less options now with and the first they got back was like a shitty, because they got it first back, but it was like the less of 2 swaps in 2029, I think. And I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like, Charlotte was very smart to do this. Like, I didn't love the LaMelo trade for them. You could go listen to that episode where I talked about it. But if you're going to trade LaMelo, making a trade like this next and just getting even more shooting on that team, combined with getting even more draft picks for future trades and potentially draft pick, just making them yourself.
Get rid of a bad vibes guy too. Like,
yeah,
I don't like
full cultural reset, shooting everywhere, combined with just stacking draft picks and having one of the most desirable trade packages for whoever becomes available next. Like, the Hornets, while I still would not have done the LaMelo trade, I think that they've set themselves up to be kind of pretty decent next year with a way to have a higher ceiling in the future. And I feel the exact opposite about the Suns.
Yeah. I will say the only thing that makes me nervous about that, the same way that I get nervous about the Celtics trading for Klingon, is their caucasity meter is starting to fill up a little bit. They got to watch that caucasity meter. I did say that somebody said that they've gentrified the Charlotte Hornets, like by removing LaMelo Ball and bringing in Grayson Allen.
Well, dude. But by the way, do you know the guy who bought the Charlotte Hornets, Gabe Plotkin? Are you aware of what he's famous for?
No,
I might have told you this before.
No,
he was the guy that basically got fucked during the GameStop thing a few years ago, where where he shorted the stock, and then they all. So it is very funny that this guy is like I'm really worried about our culture, and I'm really worried about you're a scumbag piece of shit. Like, you literally defrauded the country.
And as how cliche says in the comments, Grayson Allen is literally a more violent person than anybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He does it in like a Wall Street kind of way. I can't really explain it, you know?
Yeah,
like he went to a good school. And by the way, I also another thing, they're still they talked about this on other podcasts. Remember when I did when we did the New Orleans We're Gonna Save the Pelicans episode live in New Orleans?
Yeah.
I said my plan would be to like only get guys from New Orleans. That would be like my whole it's like you're going to get fans to come out because we got a guy that went to LSU, we got a guy that's from New Orleans, like whatever. They're doing that just with the college guys. Like Kobe White went to UNC, Khan went to Duke, Zion James went to Duke, Grayson Allen went to Duke. They're literally just copying my whole flow because no one cared about basketball there. So they're like, what if we just got all the old college stars here? But instead of doing it the Jordan way, we're doing it with actually decent NBA players.
Yeah. And it's
they should trade for Cam Johnson next.
They should. Honestly,
UNC
he would actually
shooting.
be like a pretty good fit. Because then you're bringing Naz Reid off the bench. I like that a little bit more, like than starting Naz Reid, which I think seems to be their plan right now, right? Like,
every game's going to be in the 140s for the Hornets next year. Their only version of defense is just rebounding.
I do think they're going to be kind of bad, just because I think they're going to be.
I don't know who's. That's my prediction.
Creating the shot. The East is just pretty good though. Like I think they would have been fun like 2 years ago. Like, I was gonna say maybe Kobe's the. It's funny.
Christian Anderson, 6 man.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that the Hornets and the Celtics are kind of doing the same thing now because there's a lot of. I don't know if you've heard the latest cope from Celtics fans about why we're not going to be bad this year. Is Peyton Pritchard is going to make a Jalen Brunson leap?
Jalen Brunson leap, baby.
Yeah.
And aren't they like the same age?
They probably are. Yeah.
They're not that far off in age, right? Because Jalen was a junior in the 2018 draft. And Pritchard was a senior in the 2020 draft.
And I think he was they might be like senior too. I think he was 20.
I think they're like a year. I think they're like a year and a half apart in age.
Let's go, dude.
Which, by the way, I actually am a little bit of a believer in like Peyton Pritchard in the regular season. If you gave him more shots, you could scale him up, and he could be like he could definitely average like 20 points per game on decent efficiency, and like be part of a good offense. I think, but I'm also wondering like. Jalen Brunson became a top 10 player in the NBA in his age 27 season or whatever it was. Like, I don't foresee that happening.
It's kind of crazy. Amick is saying Duren to the Lakers. I don't even know what
it's possible. Well, that's the one team that could be possible, by the way.
What would that even? I don't even know what that would like look like though. Like, what is that?
They have a max offer spot. They can give him a max.
Yes, but like,
what is?
Would you do that? I don't think I would do that if I was the Lakers.
Okay, so everyone has. I don't know if you can make your defense good enough.
Sorry, you're roboting either for me or for.
No, it's my end. I can see it on my end. Hold on.
Okay, I was gonna say you might need to leave and come back
here.
or something.
I'll refresh it. Yeah, I'll be back.
Yeah. We're gonna try that again, folks. Well, Chill's not here. Everyone rise up. Together, we can all call front offices and say Jaylen Brown actually has a lot of trade value. Take to the streets. Don't accept this.
All right, hold on. I muted his mic, guys. We're good. I've muted his mic. He has been compromised to a permanent end. No more. All right, unmuted.
Okay,
I knew you weren't talking.
Shit.
Real quick, Sam.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if I'm being realistic, like I actually was going to ask you.
Yeah.
What are the Lakers going to do? Because like, I want to be clear. I don't think that like Dort and like all the guys that they were chasing were the answer. But now they're like Rui might leave. Smart's definitely leaving for Houston. which, by the way, Ime Udoka needs to be stopped. Like, I like Smart on the
like
Lakers.
the one team that doesn't need Marcus Smart. That makes me so sad because it's like literally if I had to go around the league picking like the worst possible spot for him,
yes,
I would pick Houston.
Bottom 5,
like,
yeah.
Yes, yeah. Like,
I genuinely don't get it at all, but they seem to be fairly committed to making that work for whatever reason. By the way, we're 1 year removed away from them giving the full MLE for 3 years to Dorian Finney-Smith when he was on the Lakers, and now they're giving it to another often injured player in Marcus Smart, who just had a revival with the Lakers. Like, I don't understand that at all. Apparently, it's a 3 year close to MLE deal, but like the Lakers, he was really important for the Lakers last year, and now the Lakers are going to lose possibly LeBron, possibly Rui. Definitely Smart. And who are they replacing them with? They just gave Austin Reeves more money, so that eats into their cap space. Although, to be fair, if they do order of operations and they wait to finalize the Austin Reeves thing, they could take his cap hold and save a little bit of money. But I'm just like, what are the Lakers going to do? Are they really going to do the 3 year max for Walker Kessler? What happened?
So Amick is reporting that if it was a Duren sign and trade to the Kings, it would be Sabonis.
Yeah, but that's from the Kings spot. The Pistons have to be what? None of this matters. Why are we even hearing reporting on this? Okay, the Sixers want Duren. Okay, the Pistons have to agree to it. Like they now maybe if they change their mind and they go, we'd just rather not give him a max and we'd rather take 2 years of Sabonis. Okay, but I just don't. The Lakers can just sign him with cap space.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
This is Duren's agent putting this out there. This is not, none of this is real. Like, the only teams that can just flat out sign him are the Bulls and the Lakers, which, by the way, if you're the Bulls, I talked about this a little bit the other day. Would you not have just not, I guess they didn't want to wrap up all their cap space. Why did they take Nick Claxton for free instead of throwing a max offer at Jaylen Duren?
Yeah, that was kind of weird. Maybe
I would have done that as the Bulls.
Maybe they didn't want to tie themselves to the money. Because that's the other thing is like, maybe this is a little Mickey Mouse from Jaylen Duren. And I think that's probably what the Pistons are thinking. Like, there is enough wiggle room. I mean, he was pretty disastrous in those playoffs.
He was pretty good for the previous year, though.
Sure,
like,
sure.
And he was
I get it.
22?
But I'm just saying, like,
yeah,
it's not like this is riskless, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, there's a reason he's getting squeezed. Like, so the Lakers,
and by the way, the Lakers aren't throwing that money at him unless they know that the Pistons are matching, because they're not going to wrap up their cap space for 4 days.
Yeah.
Because then all the cap space is gone and then they have no one.
Is it 2 days now? I seem to remember them changing it.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. Either way, all the good free agents are gone in the first 2 or 3 days. Yeah. So you can't wrap up your cap space unless you have a sure thing. Like, now the more, see, here's the thing. Would I do it as the Lakers is a better question. Because I don't think you can build a playoff level defense around Luka, Reeves, and Duren. So I probably wouldn't. Because like I would just be like, let's just go get a guy who's like 80% of Duren and better on defense. Yep. And Luka can turn that guy into a demon. The problem seems to be that none of those guys are really available right now. Like, the best version of that would be like Daniel Gafford, I guess. And like, I don't know. Wow. That doesn't really do anything for me. But
no, yeah. I don't know. Like the Duren, I don't know. There's a lot of Celtics fans who want Jaylen Duren, and I don't know, man.
I mean, you're not going to win a championship if you have Jaylen Duren on a max.
Yeah.
But you can be a really good competitive team. The issue is that they just did 2 years of, and also like the Lakers just get away with it. You know what I mean? Like the Lakers just wait this out and they're just like, oh, now Jokic wants to come play here. And no, we don't need Jaylen Duren. So like that's but once again, that's why if I were the Chicago Bulls, I would have thrown a max at him if I thought the Pistons were going to match it.
Yeah.
You know,
and then they probably should have. That would have been good. That would have been good. Process. I feel like. Do we think anybody throws a bag at Walker Kessler, or is he just like going back?
That's the other guy for the Lakers, I guess, that everyone is wondering about. Is like, is Walker Kessler the guy that they're going to kind of sink all their money into? And once again, the Jazz can just match it. Their restricted free agency is not something you can fuck around with. If you have the cap space to do this, like, you kind of got to get guarantees. And like, maybe there is a guarantee. They know that and I would absolutely not max Walker Kessler. That's insane. Like, Walker Kessler, like, even if it's a 3-year max, like, that's absurd to do that. Like, he barely played. He played like 10 games this last year. And like, he's a good player. He's not like Jaylen Duren. Like, once again, I guess this is the argument in the other direction where it's like, well, if you want, 70% of Jaylen Duren on offense and then a much better defender, that's the pitch with Walker Kessler, right?
Right.
But like, I just feel like to give him that max when he's just so unproven relative to someone like Jaylen Duren, who just
was just second team All NBA. Like,
and
that does count for something.
It might be Sabonis, where it caps your ceiling because the defense is just not good enough, and he doesn't do enough on offense to really justify the defense and all of that. Yes. But to me, it's just much more of a risk to be like, hey, here's an injury prone guy who is not nearly as productive, even though he fits better and we might be able to like work out like a championship level defense around Luka.
Tom brings up a good point too. Duren is very young. He came into the league
22, 23. Yeah.
So, maybe that's part of this too.
I don't doubt that he's going to get better, but I do think that there is a limit to his ceiling, like defensively, specifically.
I would agree.
Offensively, I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to be a great regular season player and maybe even playoff player offensively eventually. Yeah. But I don't foresee him being like a legit rim protector defensive anchor that you would realistically need if you're building around Luka Doncic.
Do we think so? I saw Harden opted out. Probably goes back to the Cavs, but do we think that there's any? Okay, I was gonna say
there's no other teams. There's no other teams.
What if the Lakers?
We're running out of the Lakers are they have Reeves and Luka on maxes.
I forgot they have Reeves. Max. Yeah.
No, there's no team that's going to give James Harden. The banks are running out of money. James Harden is running out of teams. Like he's burned every bridge. The Rockets don't even want him back. Like there's no team out there for James Harden anymore. He's finishing
home. He's coming home.
Where's
Tell the Nets. It'd be very emotional for him. He's synonymous with the franchise at this point. Yeah,
it was like a calendar year. Actually,
it was less than that. Yeah,
13 months. After they just drafted Mikal Brown with the 6th pick in the draft.
I was just thinking about this. I know this is like my hobby horse, but like we really don't talk about the fact that Nets team broke up like enough. That would haunt me like forever. That was the best team in the NBA, and they just never played together, like ever.
I think it haunts every Nets fan that. I mean, to have that happen and then have him go to the Sixers in the fashion that he did, and then have all of those guys just slowly one by one force their way out, and then have happen with the Knicks in the last few years is just like that's enough to drive you insane.
It is like so. It's so crazy that they traded. Who did they trade first? Was it Kyrie or Harden? It was Kyrie, right? They traded Kyrie.
They traded
first?
Harden.
Oh, they traded Harden first. Like, it's so crazy, dude. It's so crazy that happened. Like, goddamn. Anyway, I that is the biggest NBA what if of my lifetime. They were so good for the 16 games they played together. It is like. Anyway,
the one playoff series they played together. I was gonna say Harden. It was Harden, then it was Kyrie, then it was KD. In that order, in the span of a calendar year.
Hijack said it took a once in 100-year disease outbreak. Saw that the Nets had a chance to grab New York and smited it. It's smothered it in his crib. It is crazy. Like
yeah. I mean, I run over the scenarios in my head all the times where the Sixers went wrong with Mikal Bridges and Jimmy Butler and Ben Simmons and Markelle Fultz and every single scenario down the line. And that was over the course of a decade, at least. Like that was just like a bunch of paper cuts. It wasn't this one super team put together and then completely torn apart.
I guess that's why I like can't ever like totally hate Sean Marks, because like he did build like a championship caliber team that just a black swan event wiped out. Like,
okay, all right,
it's
crazy.
Hold
on. Let me push back on this, because I've been saying this about Rob Pelinka.
Yeah.
What did he do to build that team? He literally was just like, what if we had a mid team and then Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving wanted to come here? To me, that's not like, yeah, but here's my thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not giving, LeBron forced his way to the Lakers, and then he wanted to trade for Anthony Davis. And then a few years later, Anthony Davis got traded and Nico Harrison lost his mind temporarily and traded you Luka Doncic. Like, I'm like, this is all just luck. Like, I don't, like, what did those GMs really do? Like, ultimately all of it involves a little bit of luck, but like, I just feel like if you're in a major market and you're not literally the worst team in the NBA, eventually you're going to stumble into these things.
You can't hate Bob Myers and like Sean Marks. Bob Myers inherited fucking Steph Curry on a scam contract. Sean Marks inherited 0 picks and fucking Brooke Lopez. Like, it's not the same. It is not the same in any way, shape, or form. Anyway, sorry.
Has Sean Marks ever drafted a player as good as Draymond Green?
No. 29% of GMs haven't. No, sorry. 29 other GMs haven't done that either. He's the best.
Well, I would say there's definitely plenty of, maybe not in the second round.
Denver. Tim Conley is the only other. That's what I meant. Second round. Nobody else is drafted. Tim Conley is the only one.
Dennis Lindsay. Was he the GM of the Mavericks? Or was it Donnie Nelson?
Oh, it might have been Donnie Nelson. I forget
when they drafted Brunson.
Yeah. Do we think Jalen Brunson is a better? That's a good what if.
It's gonna be the debate.
Championship. Yeah, I was gonna say, who's more important to a championship team? Jalen Brunson. The Knicks fans are gonna fucking lose their mind about this. But Draymond Green or Jalen Brunson?
Well, because Draymond is the best playoff defender in modern history.
Yes.
So it's like you can give the argument that he got drafted the perfect situation, right? Where it's like he got to play with Steph and Clay. Obviously, everything all came together. That's a once in a lifetime thing, right? Like where it's just like, how did all of this happen with the Steph scam contract and them all coming together? David Lee getting hurt, and then Draymond filling in, and then Steve Kerr and whatever. Having said that, Draymond for a decade was the best defender in the playoffs.
Yeah,
every year it was like if they got to the playoffs, Draymond was from 2015 to like really until like 2 years ago was the best defender in the playoffs every single year that he got a chance.
I think if Brunson wins another title, it goes in his direction.
Oh, for sure.
Like
because he's the best offensive player on that team. I mean, I think it's close between him and Cat, but in terms of isolation scoring and getting the Knicks over the finish line and being the volume scorer that he is, there's just very few small guards who have ever done what he's able to do.
It is very fun. It's not lost on me that Jalen Brunson does the Jason Tatum thing.
But he's just like the hyper version of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like a more extreme version of it, and his team won
because he does it all the time.
And
then he finishes the game with 40 points every time, and you're like, how did that happen? It's just like it almost is just like an overwhelming blitz of information. It's just like Jalen Brunson has 12 points, and he's kind of sucked ass all game, and then he gets the game to overtime, and he finishes with 40, and you're like, what happened?
Jalen Brunson will like pretty regularly like be the worst player on the court for like an entire half and then come like back into the game and just win the game. It's crazy that I'm still a little mad that he stole Cat's finals MVP. Like we should have had if Cat hadn't fouled out, I would have caused more of a stink about that if Cat hadn't like been in tremendous foul trouble for like all of game 5 there. But
I've said this before and I'll say it again. Being a clutch merchant in the playoffs is something that happens when you have the initials JB. Jimmy Butler, Jalen Brunson, Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown. Yeah. They should trade for Jaylen Brown. Everyone should trade for Jaylen Brown right now. He's out there.
Do you think NBA GMs actually tune into this podcast?
Yes. At least one. I know for a fact.
We know people in front offices that have tuned in, but I don't know about.
They're the people who really run the team, though. So.
Yeah, the people that are really in charge.
Yes,
the scouts and the guys that are,
it's
like seventh in command.
The only thing that can save the USA is a petty junior officers revolt. Same way we're gonna sort of lead the revolutionary takeover of the NBA by getting all the assistant GMs to rise up together.
I was gonna say I'm gonna do an MK Ultra style brainwashing where I'm just whispering into you want to trade for Paul George's contract.
I floated that as one. You guys don't want Jaylen Brown, but we could be a third team for Paul George. That's one of the contracts I ID'd. I don't know what you guys probably aren't in the market to like trade Paul George for like a better player, like, and give up stuff. But
I mean, I guess it depends, but it's one of those things where every time someone brings this up, because every time you see a Paul George trade, it's always like Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington. I'm like, what the fuck does that do for us? Like, if I'm trading Paul George with picks to get off the Paul George contract, I want to get a player that's like decent and like 26. Like, I don't want to get someone who's like 30. And then I'm like, I don't really see the point of doing this as the Sixers, because I'm not worried about the next 2 years as much as I'm worried about the next 5 years.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like you guys have, well, especially where you just hired a new GM to he's
inheriting the old GM's problems, and he doesn't feel like he needs to solve it in one off season. That's what I've been saying.
And I don't think
he feels like he has a year or two to kind of get the ship on the right track here.
Yeah. I think they came in with the understanding, like, we don't have to do things on Joel Embiid's timeline anymore. Like, we're going to let that go.
Yeah. By the way, I'm actually shocked that we didn't leave the podcast with the Sixers bringing back Dalen Terry and Dominic Barlow, waiving Trendon Watford, and your guy Amari Williams being brought back.
There was a horrible, and I'm not kidding about this. There was a horrible 40 seconds
where you thought they waived him.
Well, no, because Himmelsbach said they had the wave, and they said they're going to look to bring him back on a stretch, and I thought that was Cope. And then my guy Irv was quick with the reply that because I think Skoto had it that he was getting extended. So
did they get him on a scam contract, like a vet min, like 3-year deal or something?
I think it's just a 2-year. We don't have the details yet. I was
gonna say I think agents have gotten smart enough to be like, hey, we're not gonna do a 4-year. The Hinkie special is gone.
Yeah,
like those rarely ever exist anymore, unless you're literally like a true fringe NBA player. Like you might never get a second contract.
Peyton Pritchard was like the last guy that happened to, and I know it wasn't.
But even he got $7 million.
Yeah,
like
he did get
he should have got way more, to be clear. But like in retrospect, but like the scam contracts of the past just don't really exist.
Wow. Amick says that they do have a call with the Lakers scheduled for tomorrow, Durant and his team. So
it's once again, it's the Pistons can match it. So what are the Lakers doing? Like, what's the plan?
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. This Durant.
How are they doing this? Did they not know that free agency starts tomorrow? I haven't heard anything about anyone that's like, oh, that guy's going to the Lakers.
We've also got
Shams. Rob Pelinka's whole plan: sit back and be patient. Not everything needs a reaction.
Yeah. By the way, Shams has already walked back they see this as their big move thing. So it's,
of course he has.
Yeah. So it does kind of seem like that's where we're heading. It seems like, honestly, it kind of seems like they're haggling over Klingon. To me,
because who's going to be their starting center? This is what Zach was like. Who's going to be their center if they trade for? Maybe they get. Well,
I was going to say we could send Kada back for them.
I was going to say, but then again, if they don't view the difference between those two being that massive, I guess they wouldn't be that interested in Klingon in the first place.
Well, no, they would, because we're getting younger. Because the thing is, Kada needs to get paid, so that's the difference. So but if you want to be good, you probably care a little bit less if you're that. I had that as like a deal where if we're getting Klingon, I just don't think Klingon should break the deal. It is a little annoying that we are going to have to take on Sharp, because this is the year that I gave up the ghost on Sharp being good, and I think that contract would be a little stinky.
I don't know if you have to. Oh, I guess they traded away Jeremy Grant.
That's
but
the
they
thing.
could, they could do Drew Holiday as the matching salary. Just bring Drew back.
He's coming back. Yeah.
Bill wants that. Bill wanted. I think Bill wanted Drew, Klingon, and picks, if I remember correctly, for Jaylen.
How many does he have? 2 years? I guess he does have 2 years left on his deal. So I guess that is right. I didn't even think about that.
I think you also technically could do Drew, Tumani Kamara, and picks.
I would like that. I know Will was saying Tumani Kamara stinks. I still like Tumani Kamara a lot. I think that would be very interesting. I think he would have value in the league. Like,
also, if you, I was gonna say, if you could also pitch it as if you send Tumani, the salary gets tough when you're talking about doing the trade with no Jeremy Grant, because the Pelicans would have to be interested in Shaedon Sharp. Which, by the way, I think they absolutely would be. That screams Troy Weaver to
me. He would love Shaedon Sharp. Yeah, Troy Weaver
would be Shaedon Sharp, dude.
Yeah, he would be in there during the day. I mean, I think if I had to guess money, I forgot that if Drew's money works, yeah, I think that would probably be it. It would probably be sending Hauser, because Hauser fits into their trade except they have some $13 million trade.
I think you have to technically wait because it hasn't been a full year. No, it's probably been about a full year since Drew got traded.
It's been 2 years, hasn't it? No, it's been 1 year. Oh yeah. Then he doesn't. He has 3 years left. That's tough, right? Hold on, I gotta find
2 years. I thought he had 3 years on this deal.
Because I thought we gave him a full 4 year extension. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna figure it out while you talk about something while I'm.
Well, I was just thinking that because you could do. If I were the Celtics, I would not do it without Klingon.
I just don't think he trust. No, yeah, I guess he only has this upcoming year and a player option. I thought we gave him a full 4 year extension. I guess not.
I think you guys extended him for 2 years off his 2 years that he
off
had.
His 2 years. Okay.
Yeah. No.
I that contract isn't as bad as I remember it. I mean, it's.
I remember when you guys got rid of it for nothing. I was like, "What the fuck is this bullshit?"
Yeah.
And then now it's like, all right, well, Drew didn't play a ton this year, but Drew's still good. Drew's still a solid player. He just makes way too much money.
Wait, that's what I want now. I didn't realize that he's obviously picking. It's a player option for next year. Like he's obviously picking that up, but that's exactly kind of what we need. Now the thing is, Drew could fuck us because we need the contract to trade for someone to opt out of it hypothetically, which is not great.
He's not opting out of that money.
Yeah, but
that's so much money. I mean, he's getting $40 million while he's half washed.
So Scoot's making 13. Drew is making so that gets you to 47. Yeah, you still need more money, I think. A little bit more money because Jaylen is 56. Maybe that's okay. I'm gonna find out.
Well, then the money would line up to be Drew and Tumani very easily.
I think they want to get rid of Scoot though. I don't think
it
doesn't make a lot of sense to
Someone said I hate that we hype up Scoot for averaging 15-1-1 in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I said this before, and I've always been Scoot negative, I guess you would say. High turnover guards who were shaky shooters and can't finish around the rim. I've just been very disappointed with how his career has gone. It's not to say that he can't make himself into a rotation player in the NBA. It's just to say that I've sold my high-end outcomes for Scoot Henderson in the NBA. And a lot of his performance in the playoffs was him getting hot from three, too, when he started off on that heater. And I just don't think he has any real trade value. I think he's just a throw into any trade. And you either reroute him to a third team that might be interested in taking the flyer on him, like Memphis or something. Funny enough, they just made this trade, so I guess they're not really that interested in him.
It works. The $8 million. So it makes that Portland takes on $8 million. I don't know exactly what their cap situation is, if they're close to any of the aprons. They still have tax and apron space according to this. So I guess that's not an issue, but they could also bring back, but Klingon also works in the deal, and it's pretty much exactly a match in salary if you do have Klingon in the deal. So yeah, I don't think they don't need to put Kamara in. Yeah.
All right. Mason, shout out to Mason. Thank you for the super chat.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know why we're hyper focusing on Klingon as long as we get those Milwaukee first and our 29 first, I don't care, even with the new lottery rules.
That's how I feel completely. I don't really care about Klingon. I think
you guys are underrating Klingon a little bit. Like do I think that it's like a make or break? Like if the alternative is I get a bunch of picks and I get to go find the guy that I really want with my next trade, like if you're prioritizing, like I'd rather have the picks just so that I can go get the next star that becomes available, and we'll be good next year, and then we can find whoever it is that becomes available.
Right.
Then that's fine with me too. But I do think that like Klingon's defensive anchoring combined with like if he can ever shoot at all, combined with the offensive rebounding and like how much you guys have valued that, like I do think that all I'm saying is that Klingon showed me enough this year. Like the progression has been like going up, even with like his rough offensive game with like he might just be like a new flavor of Andre Drummond.
Yeah.
Like he might just be like a better Andre Drummond.
Yeah.
But I do think that there is a world where he's like a all defense level center.
Sure.
Combined with being a stretch big, and that's the hardest guy to find. And that's why I think that they've been kind of drawing the line at him in these.
That's what I'm saying. Like I understand the Celtics are doing their due diligence. I think when the rubber hits the road, this trade does so much of what the Celtics want it to do that I don't think you need to like. I think we would probably be more willing to blink first than the Blazers. You know,
I like the Jaylen to the Portland thing a lot more before they got Ja Morant.
Yeah,
like I really liked it when it was like Jaylen and all, like this idea. Like they would have to figure out if they traded Klingon, they would have to figure out a center. But like, I really liked the idea of Jaylen on that team and just being like a competitive team in the West.
If they give us Klingon and like get Jaylen Brown like in that's a kind of a disaster. Like Portland would be kind of
really bad
foul.
Like
that'd be kind of a foul roster.
The roster would just make no sense.
Yeah,
like it's just like, all right, so you have all these like guys that want to have the ball, not a ton of spacing. You lost your center. Like I was gonna say, Joe Cronin has bailed out Brad financially and player wise multiple times before. I mean, you guys basically got Drew in that trade a few years ago that helped you win the championship. Then your next goal was to cut salary, and he helped you cut salary. And now we're back here. And Jaylen is obviously the best player that they would have ever gotten in any of these trades. But it's still like he seems to be kind of determined to helping the Celtics any chance he gets. And by the way, new owner syndrome here. Yeah. This is exactly what Ishbia did when he took over the Suns. Like, go trade for Kevin Durant. Go trade for Bradley Beal. Like, go get the stars.
This is why Klingon would come back, because the salaries are even. He's not eating $8 million extra. Are you nuts?
No, there's no chance he's paying any more money that he has to.
Yeah.
So, although then he's like, all right, here, let me put the gun to Sam's head right here.
Yeah.
Would you rather take Donovan Klingon back in the trade, or you get one extra first in the trade, and then you get like whoever else makes the money work, Tumani Kamara or whatever?
Hold on, it works without anyone else, by the way.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And the Celtics bring back Rob Williams because the Blazers can't afford to bring him back.
that one right now. Robert Williams back. No, and then we're flipping Chris Senak to he's the salary. He's going
for Trey Murphy.
He's in the Trey Murphy trade. They knock off their price a little bit. We only have to give them one Milwaukee pick and then two of our own bad picks with Chris Senak.
I was gonna say that's when I was grading the draft, I almost gave Troy Weaver a B for resisting trading in for Nate Ament and for Nate Ament. I'm sorry to the person I've been saying Nate Ament or Chris Senak. Like that, I could have sworn he was going to trade in and pay way too much to get one of those guys. I'm not even kidding. I genuinely think that the Celtics knew that he liked, like they wanted Trey Murphy and they were like, Chris Senak is like, I'm not saying that they don't think that Chris Senak might be decent, but I definitely think it was part of the equation.
I am. This is my new This is my new cope theory that I like. Is they exclusively drafted Chris Senak.
Brad's team isn't washed. No, he's actually got a master plan.
It's a 12D chess thing. He used the 27th pick in the draft to bait
all of
the
this
hook.
stuff is very Daryl Morey coded, by the way, and Danny
It
Ainge coded
is
a little
it
bit.
is.
Where it's
It's
we're not going to
Zarin.
budge on our price.
It's
Yeah.
fucking Zarin, dude. I'm
Yeah.
telling you. Like, yeah. Anyway,
Littlefinger is he's
Yeah.
I was gonna say we have we're not gonna budge on our price. We're gonna get what we want.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we're also gonna draft the player that we know that this other team wants, that has a guy that we want. And by the way, that guy might have already requested a trade.
I do. It does feel like we're gonna get Trey Murphy once we get the. It feels like we and the Pelicans kind of
Someone's getting Trey Murphy.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be us. I would be kind of disappointed in that because I was like really annoyed about the Trey Murphy thing when, like I thought once I like came to terms with the fact that we're burning a season of Jason Tatum's prime, like everything makes a lot more sense. I was just getting mad because I was like, there's no way Trey Murphy can be everyone's coping. Jason Tatum is not a high leverage fulcrum that way. Like we're not going to be good enough to do anything in the playoffs next year, no matter what. Jaylen Brown. But now if we're taking a multi-year thing and we're waiting for somebody else to become available, I get it a little bit more. You're just putting yourself a lot of pressure over this next calendar year to get someone. Because if you don't get anyone and they're going to have you over a barrel, whatever team has this guy, you can't be like, oh, we're not putting Baylor Shireman in the fucking trade. And you can't say, oh, we're not putting Hugo Gonzalez in the trade anymore. You got to get that guy, whoever it is. Have
you seen his time decay Ratham?
Will, that's like the best thing that's happened to Will basketball wise in like a year. That the Hugo thing. Will, I can tell that like that was Will's. That was Will was so excited about that he got to fucking dunk on Hugo for 2 days.
By the way, we did get a little bit more slop while we were recording. Norm Powell to the Bulls is a possibility for tomorrow, which makes sense because they just need shooting.
Yeah, and somebody needs to. I kind of like that. You put a normal-ish team around Caleb Wilson. This is what I've been talking about.
I will say the one thing about Norm Powell though is he's never going to pass to your young guys. That's like the Heat learned very fast. Even if when he made the All-Star game, it was like any Heat fan who watched every game, they're like, the fact that the media is crashing out over the fact we can't bring back Norm Powell tells me that they did not watch the second half of the season because Norm Powell just doesn't pass to anyone.
Dude, Eric Spoelstra like basically fucking benched him, and he was an all-star that year, which is like that kind of tells you everything you need to know. I also, but the thing is, you're not going to make your young guys be primary ball handler and like just have like you know how like the Pistons threw Cade to the Wolves like his first 2 years in the league. Like I think you need to have a vet out there to absorb some of the psychic damage of being a bad team, a ball handler on a bad team. So I like.
I'll say I think the one guy that will have the ball a ton for them next year immediately is Dalen Swain. Like I think that they're going to let him be like the bench ball handler.
That's what I'm saying. The bench ball handler is like a different thing. Like I let Josh Giddey and fucking Norm Powell absorb the
Trey Jones and So real quick, just a few predictions for tomorrow. Okay. Free agency starts tomorrow. We'll be back for the stream for when free agency kicks off. But 6 p.m. But do you think, first off, is there any big trades or signings or anything that you can think of will happen in the next 24 to 48 hours that you feel like?
I'm gonna stake it right now. I think I'm gonna put my chips down for the Jaylen Brown trade. I think it's gonna be the package is going to be Drew Holiday, Scoot Henderson. Mm-hmm. I do think Donovan Clingan will be in there. Mm-hmm. I think it will be 2 firsts and some weird swap.
Okay.
That's the package I'm going with right now. We are.
I can't believe we're going to have, it's very funny because I said I wanted Chris Senak to be drafted to a team where he's just kind of goes to like the Kings and I never have to hear about him again. I feel like we were almost to the point where we were done talking about Scoot Henderson on the podcast. And now the Celtics might get him and it's like, Scoot with the spacing and
dude,
Joe's system. We have to hear the manufacturing consent.
I'm ready to fall for it. No, I'm not going to be manufacturing. I'm going to completely fall for it, and he's going to be terrible, and I'm going to love him. Like I can't wait, dude. I fucking can't wait. I'm actually genuinely really excited to get Scoot. I can't wait to. We'll see if that's some famous last words, but
two pieces of swap. Chris Haynes said, "Watch out for the Miami Heat in regards to Bradley Beal and free agency."
Wow,
so that we were right on that
Shocker.
one. Yeah. It seemed very obvious. I mean, they can start him. They've kind of always wanted him, but they just didn't want to pay him. It makes a lot of sense. Giannis has liked him in the past. Bam's friends with him, I think. So it's very funny. This is by the way, just real quick, second straight year that a team has replaced Norm Powell with Bradley Beal. And at first it looked like a disaster until Bradley Beal got hurt. And then Norm Powell made the All-Star game. Yeah. Trailed off down the stretch. But so, and also the Lakers are meeting with Walker Kessler tomorrow. So we'll see. That's what Demon Sidery is saying. I'm assuming Demon Sidery is not, he's going to own the haters and losers this cycle.
We believe in Evan. In this house,
all the traditional media calling him a scam artist. Now he's gonna prove them wrong.
No,
dude.
Demon Evan has got our back. We've always we've got Evan. We've got Evan fever, folks.
I'm actually really excited. You know what I'm most excited for tomorrow?
What's that?
The Sixers are gonna sign Dean Wade because Gansey's the one who discovered him, and then we will get Zach will play a classic hit on the show.
Oh my God. Yeah, I forgot.
The accounting firm is, I almost posted the Ben Affleck meme where he's looking at the spreadsheets and saying Mike Gansey looking at Dean Wade for all your accounting needs metrics before he signs them.
Yeah, what is it? What's the Wade Edgecombe and who's got the other good name for this? Barlow. Wade Edgecombe and Barlow is a pretty good law firm name.
Yeah, there you go. Zach will pivot from the accounting firm to the law firm.
Law firm. But it's a great nickname when you can do it. Ben Jarvis Green Ellis, former Patriots great, was nicknamed the law firm. We love that.
I forgot about that. Sounds like a law firm and an individual human. So just I don't know if I have any the obvious ones I think that are going to happen tomorrow are I would imagine Bradley Beal, Kawhi gets traded to the Raptors. I'll say Jaylen also gets traded to the Blazers just because it seems like the most obvious spot for him to land. And then I'm pretty sure the Sixers are signing Dean Wade. Which I'll have more to say on that on the stream tomorrow. I've always kind of hated on Dean Wade only because calculator rats talk about how underrated he is, and I'm like, he plays like 50 games a year, and he's basically like new era PJ Tucker, where he's like really good defender, will shoot open shots, good rebounder, but he doesn't do much else. And now I have to completely reverse track on him and be like, actually, he knows his role. He's a key piece on the Sixers.
I love doing that. I love doing that. It's so awesome.
I was lying all those years when I said that he's overrated. And then is there any other? Because I don't even know who the best free agents are because a lot of guys just went back to their
team. Let's hold on. Let's find out. So Kuminga's out there now. That's probably the biggest change,
he is such a Laker. Yeah, Harrison said this. Harrison said this is the most Rob Pelinka coded player in the history of I think that is like a lock that we get Kuminga. Oh my God, if they sign like Kuminga and Walker Kessler, I'm starting to be like, I think the Lakers might be worse next year. If LeBron leaves,
if LeBron leaves, man, like, why? I don't know, like that seems bad for them.
Kawhi to Toronto official.
Wow, really?
That's what Brian's saying. Unless he's trolling us.
I don't see who
from Shams.
Who's got it? Who's got it? Did my Shams notifications not work anymore?
Amari two-way deal.
He got got.
He got got. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say I do have my notifications on, but I put on do not disturb because I wanted to lock in for the podcast. But it was a fake Chris Haynes. Chris Haynes ain't breaking that one. Let me put that out there right now.
We've got Slow-Mo, a free agent right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's like John Collins. Dort was unironically going to be one of the best free agents, even though I think he's overrated, but they picked up his option.
Yeah, that's crazy. Bogdanovich. Any interest in Bogdanovich?
Anyone? Bogdan?
John Collins. I know you had him as you think Dean Wade is probably the
I think Dean Wade is more
there.
I think John Collins goes to either like the Spurs, maybe the Wolves or the Magic. Like there are a few teams that are interested in John Collins. Mamu is unironically
he might be like the number 3, maybe. Like
it's like Norm Powell, Mamu, Kuminga. Who else? Like, is there anyone?
Did Hawks Mogay? Because there's 2 Mogays, right? And Hawks Mogay is the good one.
Yeah, he went back to the Hawks.
He already went back to the Hawks.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah,
one.
the other one got waived. Yeah, but he hold on. Let me Tobias Harris. By the way, Tobias Harris possibly a Laker.
That would be very funny.
Dude, this cap space plan is all I'm saying is don't do cap space plans.
No,
if the Lakers really fumble this,
what's Benedict Mathurin gonna do? They might get away with giving Benedict Mathurin might take the qualifying option.
He's I think it's gonna be a Quentin Grimes situation.
Yeah,
he's a restricted free agent. Although they don't really have a ton to do with their money, like because Kawhi's leaving and Mitchell Robinson. That's another. He'll probably get at least an MLE deal. We've heard him connected to the Lakers and the Nets. Rui Hashimura possibly to the Spurs was the rumor.
Oh, that's another good one. That'd be interesting for them.
Mo Wagner is rumored to leave the Magic.
That's a good one.
It's not a good class, dude.
Vooch is out there for the right price if anybody wants him. Omax got his option picked up, no longer a free agent.
Demon Minot got paid.
I saw that. Very happy about that.
They're going to let Zaire Williams walk, but
that's good. Unironically, like Robert Williams might be like a top 15, even though he's done.
If all things were, I was going to say, if all things were equal injury wise, he would be like a top 5 free agent.
Yeah, he might even with the injuries, he might be a top 15 free agent. To be totally honest, it's crazy.
Yeah. Peyton Watson is also. Oh, yeah. But once again, he's restricted. And all these restricted guys, Tari, Walker Kessler, Peyton Watson, I just automatically assume they're going back to their teams. We haven't had a restricted free agent leave in so long that was actually worth paying that it feels kind of insane to me. Yeah. Looks like Kevin Huerter's back. Duncan Robinson might get salary dumped because they got Isaiah Joe.
Crazy. He's still good.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if I would do that.
No, I would definitely rather have him as a regular season guy.
Yeah.
Apparently, so everyone's saying that Detroit is ready to make big moves, but I'm like, can they really do that until they know what's going on with the Duren situation?
Yeah. They should do something. I think it's all going to be trades, right? I think that's kind of what we're looking at here is who's got the draft ammo and the drive to make a trade. And it is the Pistons. God, if they could have got Lowry last offseason, man, I don't know. Can you imagine?
Okay, real quick. Where's Bones? Because everyone keeps saying Sexton and Simons. I know what those guys are. I would rather take a flyer on Bones Highland if I were one of these teams.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Fuck it.
He's a better ball handler than any of those guys.
For sure.
Sexton. By the way, I just want to put this in perspective. The Hornets traded for Colin Sexton. They traded Wash Nurkic for Colin Sexton.
Lost the trade.
First off, Nurkic got paid today. They get 2 years, $22 million, which I didn't. Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
But they got Colin Sexton back, and then Colin Sexton was so bad for them that they traded him for Kobe White with seconds, and then Kobe White was a god for them. In that system. So that is a very bad sign for Colin Sexton, is all I'm saying.
Yeah,
and maybe you could probably talk me into Anthony Simons going to the Heat and being decent or something, but if I were a team, I would want, I was Gansey would want small forward Bones Highland on the Sixers next year. We just drafted Bones Plus in Phylon. He's basically like the SGA of Bones Highland. Yeah. But I would definitely be interested in him as a regular season, like innings eating backup point guard. He had a pretty good year last year for Minnesota, and I'm surprised that he's not like linked to any, like, I always hear about these guys that are like known commodities that are kind of mid or suck. Like Bones is still like 25. Like I would absolutely take a flyer on him if I were like a Chicago Bulls style team or something.
Yeah. I guess what I'm saying here is the motion will be in the trades tomorrow. The free agency signings are going to be a little underwhelming, but like we're lined up for some pretty good trades though. Like I think once they figure out the Duren thing, the Pistons are going to do something, right? Probably with Ron Holland and
we'll see. I mean, everyone seems to be suggesting that the rumor would be someone suggested like Michael Porter Jr., but I'm like, I feel like we would have already got that. Like what? Like what is everyone waiting for? Is what I'm guessing. Like because like we've gotten some pretty big trades so far, and I just feel like there are a few free agent dominoes that need to fall before the other can be finalized.
Jaylen Brown holding everything up? Like
and Duren possibly, like with the Pistons don't really want to make moves until they know what they're doing with him. Like that feels like what's going to kind of determine this. But once again, the best summer of Slop we've had in a while. Oh, shut the fuck up.
That's who our top free agent
Shut
is.
the fuck up.
Gary Trent, come on down. Celtic, by the way.
By the way, I had an even more perverted like week with the guy that I convinced myself that the Sixers need to take a flyer on is Jonathan Mogbo from the Raptors.
He's good though. He's actually good.
No, he's really not. I promise you, I did the whole sell because my whole thing was like, all right, he's 24, 25. Like didn't really get a chance with the Raptors. And I just want to show you what experience I went through here. Okay. I was looking at like his like playmaking stats because he led the league in potential assists per 100 in his rookie season. And then he barely played his second year. He was in the G League a lot. And I was like convincing myself like defensive playmaking, he gets a bunch of deflections and steals and blocks. And then he's a really good passer. And I was like, yeah, the scoring sucks, but like the Sixers couldn't afford to take on that guy, right? Like whatever. And then I went and watched one of Ben Pfeiffer's videos that he did on him because Ben liked him in the draft. And I think we both kind of were like that. He's an interesting, like late first round flyer guy.
And sold me on in that draft.
Yeah. And so I went to his video and I'm like watching it and I'm like, this is pretty rough. Like this is like, he just cannot score. Like,
is it because like, we've been mispronouncing his name? Like if we start calling him Jonathan Mobo,
is that his name?
According
I thought it was Mogbo.
Apparently it is Mobo. So
EJ
bring back
EJ Liddell just went to Europe, and I'm like, I was not wrong about him. He just got injured, but no, Mobo. Okay, there you go, Jonathan Mobo. Whatever. The long and short of it here is that I was watching Ben's video, and I was like, this is a really tough sell. Like he has zero touch. He cannot score at all. Like he can pass, he can rebound, he can defend. It's a really like it's basically like a worse Zuby Ejiofor. Like, and I love Zuby, but it might not work for him in the NBA.
It might not.
I like him though. I think that he's got a decent chance to be like a demon.
I like a lot of. I think this was a really good draft, which is part of the reason I had the horrific crash out because I thought we took one of the only guys who's not a good guy in this draft. But if we're flipping him for Trey Murphy, I'll stand up, I'll clap, I'll salute Brad Stevens for a job well done. I'll kiss his feet, I'll apologize. The whole 9 yards.
By the way, if there is the draft model I sent you, the Harlan draft model that we talked about.
Yeah,
yeah. So if the Sixers do sign Jonathan Mobo in free agency, he was 7th in his class that year in that model. Mm-hmm. Every single guy that the Cavs drafted under Gansey and every single guy that the Sixers have acquired, including Phylon. Well, it's really just Phylon so far, but every guy, Dalen Terry's another guy that they brought back, was number like 4 in his draft class in that model. I'm convinced that he knows about this model because every time we look at someone that he drafted or acquired, they're top 15 or 20 in the model. And I'm like, I think this is how he scouts. He just goes and checks on this draft model. So keep an eye on that for the future. But
Himmelsbach finally fucking published something. God damn it, dude. That was the other thing that's so annoying about this is nobody had any, like, no beat people had any insight or reporting. Himmelsbach is kind of like our only, like,
right, like tea leaves guy.
Yeah, like tea leaves guy. So I guess he finally dropped something today and surprised Jaylen Brown was frustrated with the organization. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious. Fucking
yeah.
Like everyone's been saying this. Like he's been throwing shots at them like subtly, and yeah, I mean, it's Jover. It's Jover whether they want to admit it or not. It's I believe me, I've been in your shoes before, and you know when it's Jover. Yeah, so all right. We'll be back tomorrow, 6 p.m.
We'll see.
Hopefully we get
there.
some more trades between now and then.
If Jaylen Brown doesn't get traded, I will bring a gun on the stream. As a promise to everyone on the right now.
That will be on the YouTube. This is going up with the main feed, and then the Patreon and the YouTube room members will get all the future streams.
The Patreon will be the Bud Dwyer footage of me. So, well, peace.